All right, let's get this thing rolling. All right.
I'm
We're
ready.
doing it now. We're actually doing it.
Okay.
All right. Okay, not that it matters, but we'll just throw it out there. First female guest on the pod this time around.
Thank you.
On the video version. So you'll all get to share in my time with the lovely queen. She's a queen of many things.
Oh.
Queen of Doritos, pizza, corn dogs,
Snacks.
it sounds like, snacks.
Just food.
Beer.
Yeah.
And it definitely, that's where our story starts as being human friends. But welcome in my good friend Charolette.
Yay.
Charolette.
I'm glad we could finally do this.
We're doing it.
It's been a minute.
I mean, we've done this before, but we've never done it with video.
Yeah.
And it was always just full beer centric.
Right.
It was all we talked about. Man, it was back in the microphone days when I met you, and you were, the right hand milady at Mikerphone Brewing and handling all events and literally everything. COVID times.
I mean, the guys did a lot of work.
Well, yeah,
they get a lot of credit.
Beer
Yeah,
and stuff.
they get a lot of credit.
But you even got to brew some beer while you were there.
I did, yeah.
You did a whole podcast.
You were
about
there.
it.
You were there for it. And that's the thing is you were podcasting while we were brewing beer in the middle of it. And then Fox News was off to the side trying to record it too. Yeah, Dane. Yeah.
Dane's
we
the
love
best.
Dane. He's so sweet.
Dane does his thing, man. He's in that beer world. He gives us a voice, right?
Yeah,
he gave
it's
us beer
cool.
nerds a voice.
It's cool that he's into it and he wants to come cover the stories.
He would show up to the phase 3 beer gardens before, the tap room was built, and I was running that tap room, well, the non-tap room at the time. So it'd be like me and Josh and Tommy and that group and
God,
Efron
the OG
and,
crew.
oh my God, it was so fun. Kylene.
So fun.
And Dane would roll in there and he'd be in a sleeveless Daytona shirt or something. He
Really?
was, just
I've
not-
never seen him outside of
just not used to seeing him like that.
oh man, that would throw me off.
Oh, it threw me off, but he was awesome. We gave them a tour and stuff before we opened the tanks and all that. But then it got wild. But that's how you and I met craft beer, right? That's our thing. That was our thing. That was our kind of start to our story. I don't even remember. Did we meet at an event at the brewery? We just knew the same people.
It just happens. I feel like that happened a lot, especially around that time frame where it was either you already followed each other on social media or you'd already heard about that person. I'm sure Josh Crane was involved in it somewhere.
Josh.
I know. I can't wait to talk shit about Josh Crane this entire episode.
Handsome, sweet boy.
No. He's
Handsome,
absolute
sweet boy.
angel that everyone loves.
Was.
And another person that really tied people together.
Yeah, well, and no doubt he's still doing that. I think to this day,
Right.
who knows? He's constantly tying people together. Yeah, I'm sure it was social media because you. What did you start at? Only Child.
Only Child
was kind of where I started to see you pop up on whatever social media or sharing beer stuff.
Yeah, I think my first handle was Charlotte at OCB or Charlotte at Only Child. Charlotte at Only Child, maybe that was it.
That's hilarious.
And then I left and I had to change it to Charlotte Beer Me. And I keep, it keeps coming up lately.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. And I'm like, man, I want to get rid of this handle so bad,
Yeah,
but I don't
what
think
would
I
you
can.
do? What would you change it to?
I don't know. That's the problem.
Oh, so you don't even have a plan.
I don't even have
You're
a
just
plan.
You're just I just got to change this.
I got to
thing.
change it.
Old and tired.
Yep, old and tired.
I mean, the biggest, we couldn't have planned this any better time, right? This is your season. This is
it's heavy beer season.
It's
spooky
fall
season.
I don't care about beer.
Well,
Beer's
yeah, no,
fine.
it is. I mean, we are 2 days away from Halloween. No, tomorrow.
Yeah, you're the fall queen. You're the one that's posting the memes and the gifs and the reels.
I feel like I've slacked this year. Yeah, my 12-foot skeleton isn't even all the way up.
Whoa.
He fell. He had an accident last year. He's 6 foot now, maybe 5.5. And I just haven't had anyone come out and help me repair him yet.
You need hands.
I need people because I left him. I live in Chicago. I left him on my balcony. Chicago winds got to him and he fell off part of him fell off my balcony.
Okay. All right. Part of him.
So yeah. And he just stays up year round.
Yeah, clearly.
As one does when they have a 12-foot skeleton. Why would you pack him away?
In the city of Chicago.
Right. My neighbors love me.
We got one on the street actually. Actually, he used to work for Workforce years ago, and then he was also one of the cooks at Station 1
I think with the skeleton, I was he just would go over there.
Chris Papadopoulos.
Okay.
Chris Papadopoulos, but he worked at both places, but they keep theirs year round. It's got American flags in its hand during 4th of July. It's got, they just kind of decorate. They soup
There's
it up.
entire Facebook page groups.
Really?
People dedicated
do you have the
to it.
dog too?
No.
How do you not have the dog?
I know. I fucked up. Well, that's what I'm saying is I feel like I have not really been participating in Halloween yet this year. I've done a few things, but
this is just the beer. Too much work.
I think it's been a little busy.
Too much work.
That's a little busy. Yeah. Okay. And the weather's been weird. It's been warm. Doesn't feel like fall.
That's true. Today and yesterday especially.
Mm-hmm.
The wind.
I'm
sucks.
wearing shorts.
Yeah,
it's awful.
Me too. The wind sucks. But
yeah.
I'll take that. I'll take that with, I don't know, it was like 80 degrees today.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? What are we doing?
I don't like it. Everything's melting. I'm from the Midwest. I want it to be a little crisp right now. So
here, I'll ask you this. I'm sure we've talked about this at some point, but like, what drove you into beer in the first place? Like, because it's not like you're like Johnny come lately, you know, like you've been around the scene for a long time. We probably met each other in like 2017, 2018,
yeah,
and you were there long before that.
I'm in like 9.5 years-ish, or right around there.
And that was like working in it, like, and before you worked in it, were you into it at all? Were you just like a service industry person?
I was definitely going to like craft beer fests. My ex at the time was into like home brewing. We liked craft beer for sure. But I got into working in craft beer because I bought a Jeep that I couldn't afford and I needed a part-time job.
Classic.
I bought a Wrangler and I was like, oh.
And the first thing you thought, well, I guess I have to work in craft beer now.
Yeah. I was like, I better get a bartending job for this. Yeah, I mean, that's really it. I was like, I need a part-time job. Only child was right down the street from me. They were looking for
proximity. Proximity's always good.
Yeah. They were looking for a bartender once a week. Easy. And I had, weirdly enough, already had a hop tattoo on me because I got drunk in Nashville looking at a PBR can and was like, that would be a cool tattoo.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And had a little bit of beer experience and was like, all right, we'll give it a shot. And Ben Rossi, the owner at the time, was rad, took a chance on someone who had never actually worked in craft beer.
What was that interview like? I can figure it out. I promise.
Yeah, basically.
Like, I've poured a beer before.
He's like, have you poured beer before? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I think you can handle this, you know.
Do you show up?
Yeah. You know, I was responsible.
Sometimes.
Yeah. And it was one of those things, like, I was posting, I made a Facebook page and an Instagram of like, so that way people knew when I was bartending. It was like, hey, come on out.
Such a good idea.
I'm bartending. Friends, come hang around with me. And it kind of just turned into a thing from there. So I was working in the pharmacy at the time.
Pharmacy?
Yeah, I was going to go to pharmacy school.
What? What were you doing in the pharmacy?
I know.
You're a pharmacist?
No.
Are you allowed to touch pills and stuff when you're not a pharmacist?
Yeah, I was a tech, and I had been doing it for a while. I was getting my prereqs done to go to pharmacy school. And
yeah, there's no money in pharmaceuticals. Definitely.
None at all.
Went the craft beer route.
Yep.
Smart.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
I really made a lot of good financial decisions.
Nailed it.
Bought a car I couldn't afford.
Jeep.
Left school that would have provided 6 figures right off the bat. Yeah. I'm not regretting life choices at all.
Did you just get rid of the Jeep? Are you trying currently to get rid of it?
Okay, technically I still own it.
Okay.
I think someone's buying it this weekend. So
let's go.
I love it though. I kind of want to keep it forever. I'm weirdly attached.
That's
it
okay,
smells
though.
so bad.
What do you mean by that? Just like beer? Like
it smells like stale beer, dog,
like old grain, or
just everything. Yeah, I mean, the number of dirty kegs that have been in the back of that thing.
Really?
4-packs that have exploded.
Well, where are you going? 450 North, like
see, you need like a cool sound effect.
Yeah.
It's like
it actually does have a soundboard in it, but I don't have any sounds built in.
Yeah, you need a shots fired sound effect.
Yeah, that was cool. That was really cool, Jill. Yeah, no, nobody wants to blow up stuff in there.
No.
That's not fun.
So I still own it. Yeah.
Jesus, what'd you get? What'd you end up getting?
I got a Bronco Sport Badlands.
You've got a Bronco vibe to you.
Yeah, I think I do. Vibe. Yeah, it seemed like the next like natural transition to go from the black basic Wrangler to a black basic Bronco.
So did you? That's like you rolled up in the dark, so I couldn't tell like what color and stuff it was.
Oh, just black.
I could tell the lights. The Bronco. Mm-hmm. Broncos are hot right now.
It's cool.
They're pretty sweet cars.
It's nice to have a car that has heat. Because the Jeep did not have heat for the last like 2 years. Yeah.
While, huh?
Yeah. I was one of those things where I was like, I am riding this thing until it is done. And I set a limit every year of what I was willing to spend on it to fix repairs here and there. And then it hit that limit this year, and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Well, it's cool that you actually like set. I would just wing it. I would just be like, well, whatever fucking happens, happens.
It was like, if it gets this dollar amount, knowing that like going into winter again, didn't have heat, the radio completely stopped working, crack in the windshield, smelled like stale seltzer and beer.
I love that.
But I will miss it. R.I.P. to the Jeep,
Just a rough ride.
Oh,
just a rough ride.
So I've got a guy who...
It looks good, though.
It was cool. It was fun. Yeah. It was I live in the city. Like multiple times, people would hit that thing and then drive off. And I was like, well, okay, just keep on driving.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Someone's going to scratch the Bronco and I might cry.
You plan on staying there? You plan on staying city? I mean, obviously, Solemn Oath.
I think for a while. Yeah. I think it's good for me with Solemn too. I'm on the north side, so I can get to either spot. Okay. But I like it. I like being able to catch a concert last minute, grab food in cool spots.
Half your Instagram is just you at a concert.
Yeah, it looks like I'm just going to concerts all the time.
Yeah, I assume you're just eating at cool restaurants, going to festivals, hanging out with Jess, and then if I just had to go off your Instagram, that's it. That's what's funny is Instagram has that way of making it look like your life is so cool, and it's like I'm posting this while I'm sitting on my couch right now. Yeah, but what's really cool about your life is definitely your dog. So so what's Jeppy's story? Like what's Jepson's like?
What's your
gotcha story? Your whole I mean, your dog rules.
Yeah, we'll give a little shout out to it's Dog Style. They're in Vernon Hills, edge of Lincolnshire, Vernon Hills.
It's an edgy name.
Bombshell Bullies is the rescue that is associated with them. Dog Style is like training, boarding facility. I had used them for a dog previously, and then but the rescue portion, Bombshell Bullies, followed them on socials, debating on getting a dog again. Whoa! They had 2 pregnant females come in, 20 puppies, and a puppy at that too. Like, why? Oof. I'll never do it again.
So yeah, like what stage were you in when you got Jeppy? Were you in when you
despair?
Were you in the city? Were you living in the city when you first got him?
Single in the city,
and I was in the city working for.
I was at Mikerphone, and I was like, let me just get this big Pitbull puppy all by myself.
Yeah. So how'd you find him? How was?
Just following them. They had 20 puppies basically get born at the facility, and I went in to visit, and I wanted a female. I've never had a male dog.
Okay.
Always females. I've had pit bulls before.
We always had females too, and then now you met Thor.
Yeah, yeah. He's an absolute saint.
He's a handsome boy.
You lucked out.
Terrible dog.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's just like wild how different a female versus a male is. The females were smarter, easier to train.
I'm telling you.
Oh man.
Thor has taken 2 crock pots off the counter while they were in full cook mode with beef roasts in them.
Oh, love that.
One he knocked people. I have on video him pulling it off the counter, and then the lid topping it on, or the whole crock pot flipping on top of the meat. So he got screwed on that one. But the second time he did it, he got the full roast out of it. Oh, yeah,
what an angel!
Sweet boy. He's a sweet boy.
Just sweet dumb dogs, boy. I'm a sucker for it. So yeah,
but there's something to that girl boy dog thing. I don't know.
It really is. Yeah. So I checked out the female. I picked her up. She was kind of bitey.
Ah.
A little snarly, and I was like, she's not the one for me. And then this big dumb idiot comes running in and like slaps his paw on me and runs away and then pees on something, and I was like, I think I like that dog.
That feels like my vibe.
He's coming home with me.
Oh my god.
I've had him since he was 3 months, and
he's so cute.
He is cute, and
the color, the face,
pretty boy.
He's a good looking dog.
Yeah, and it was nice because Mikerphone, Mike was cool with me bringing him to work for the first few months in a little crate, and could take care of him a little easier. And then he by the time I started at Solemn, it just worked out. I didn't have to bring him to work. He has a dog walker now though.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
What are they paying you? What is Solemn paying you right now?
My god.
Get John on the phone.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Did we just like slowly give our first shout out of the podcast to Mike Palin without really saying shout out?
Yeah. I was like, Mike, let me bring him.
Shout out Mike Palin.
What's up, Mike? Yeah, that was rad of Mike. And the guys were all great with him, and the front of house staff was rad too.
They probably loved it.
He got spoiled.
They probably loved it.
It was a cool way to like socialize him too. So he got to see people. Yeah.
Like,
people with beards and hats and glasses. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was rad. It was such a good way to like introduce him to people and get him comfortable around folks.
Yeah, he's a sweet boy. I need to see more of him. I mean, do you get to bring him to Solemn at all? Or
I don't.
Yeah.
It's Naperville production facility. We can't have him in there. And then once in a while, I'll sneak him into Chicago because we're dog friendly. But I'm too busy focusing on stuff to like worry about what my troublesome 3-year-old puppy is doing.
That's fair.
Because he is probably eating something he shouldn't.
That's fair.
Like in 1 week, this dog ate like a loaf of bread, a jar of peanut butter,
Thor's
and
a
pesticide.
big bread guy too. Thor loves bread.
They love
pesticide.
it. Yeah.
What are they doing with the what?
Yeah. Turns out your dog can have a little bit in small doses and be totally fine. Big dogs.
It's like, food has so much rat shit in it. Like that's an acceptable amount for him.
I called poison control and they were like, no, he'll be fine.
So how did he? What was it? Pellets or something?
No, it was like the little like ant roach trap thingies that like I just throw under
like
the
liquid
fridge.
ones. Like the liquid ones.
They're like in a little plastic container case thingy.
Okay.
But they're like peanut butter scented, and that's why bugs like it. But also turns out your dog will like it.
That's why little pitty boys like it too.
Yep. Yeah. And I was like, "What's that crunching noise?" And it was just him mowing one down.
That's my boy.
Yep.
That's my boy.
10:00 on like a Thursday night, and I was just like doing the numbers of the vet bill in my head, and I was like, "All right, let's call." They have the 1-800 number. Let's just call. And they have like vets on, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, is this for a person or an animal?
Okay.
I'm like, animal, let's go. And she's like, he's big, he's healthy, he'll probably be fine. If anything, he might have diarrhea. And he was fine. Totally fine.
Our old dog, our last chocolate lab, she ate like a 200 count bottle of like Tums or something on there.
Labs are known for that too.
Wild. It didn't even look like it.
Doesn't phase them.
6 raw chicken breasts right out of the sink. Nothing. Just like, it was fine. We're good.
Meanwhile, my sister's Chihuahua can't have anything with high sodium, otherwise his heart explodes. So
well, that wouldn't be good.
Yeah,
I should probably start taking that advice too. I just feel older and older every day.
I love it.
So let's walk down memory lane a little bit to that time with Jep, right? Like when Jep's starting to come into your life. So you the way you said it was kind of funny. Like, oh yeah, single, alone in the city.
Yeah,
Yeah. So what's that? What's that like? What's that whole lifestyle?
10 out of 10. Don't recommend getting a puppy when you're single.
Okay.
People say to do it. I don't think it's a great idea. I mean, it's fun. I don't regret it. I just don't think I would do it again. I'm tired. I don't know how people do it with humans. How do people have a baby by themselves?
Oh, yeah. People are just built different.
Wild. Yeah, not me.
No.
Yeah, I've lived in the city for like 4 years now. Love it.
Same place, or you had a couple spots?
I'm right by Sleeping Village.
Okay.
They've got a great beer lineup. Great venue for shows.
What's your spot? It's like what's your routines around there? Your
I'm
currents.
a big Best Intentions fan.
What is that?
Little fanciest cocktail bar in Logan
Tell
Square.
Me more.
They've actually been voted, I think, like nationally. They've been recognized as like a dive bar, but like they make some of the best cocktails and
What's
have
it
the
called
best
again?
list.
Say that again?
Best Intentions.
Best Intentions.
Love Best Intentions. I eat at. I mean, I've been doing a lot of food pop-ups lately, trying to support the friends, checking out new spots. Yeah. And I don't like hit a ton of bars all the time.
Well, it's like we did all that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing is like everyone thinks I'm busy going out all the time, but like I'm tired.
Where's the music come from? Because you're like you is that like instilled in you since like you're young,
I think
like teenager?
God,
like
I think the first concert
I
went to was
like
like
your parents like big music people, like
yeah. My parents are young. My dad's 56, and was like, "You're gonna listen to only good music." My mom was like, "You're gonna listen to 90s country," which I still love to this day.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, I think my first concert was like Tonic.
Dude.
And then like REO Speedwagon. Yeah, for sure. Exactly. And I was like 9 or 10. I loved it. And then my stepmom was really cool. And she was like, here's Metallica, here's Smashing Pumpkins. And like my first CDs were like Jewel and Smashing Pumpkins and like clearly very dramatic music for a 10-year-old to be listening to. Probably explains a lot, right? Like
I
was like just crying over heartbreak and I don't even know what it means.
That's fine. I wasn't going to say that. You know what my first concert was? It was Confederate Railroad. Do you remember Confederate Railroad? No. They were like late 80s, early 90s country. And wait,
what's the song?
They had a song called Trashy Women.
Okay,
that was I like my women.
Oh no, I love that song.
Yes, that was my first concert.
That was in my Instagram profile for a while. It was I ain't first class, but I ain't white trash.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they had backup dancers and singers that were called the Trashettes.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Let's bring it back.
these were like county fair.
Yeah.
You know,
I love a good county fair band.
You know, the Joliet fair, the Sandwich Fair.
Oh.
These were like my first concerts.
I love a good county fair.
Wild.
Yeah.
They only had like two songs I remember were like really popular.
So you saw them live though?
Oh, yeah. 6, 7 years old. Danny Shirley, I still remember their
so
lead singer.
awesome.
My mom caught his pick. My mom caught his guitar pick.
Wow.
Yeah, my dad only listened
Did she get invited backstage too?
No, unfortunately, they had the Trashettes back there. They
okay.
weren't really in need of middle-aged housewives at the time.
You never know, man.
You know, yeah, maybe not. But I remember going to see them at like 6, 7 years old, and it was like blowing my mind at like, what is this? My dad only listened to country. My dad's not like a music guy. He just 98.3 was on the radio. That was it.
Wow.
My mom was like pop music or Commodores. Like she liked funk and she liked pop music. You opened up like
That's pretty cool,
the
though.
middle console, the cassette tapes, dude. Like Amy Grant and like what was always in there? Jesus. Wilson Phillips. Always the Wilson Phillips tape.
Straight bangers.
Only bangers.
Yeah.
Only bangers. So I have like the worst musical background. I mean, it's like the best, but it's also the worst.
Yeah.
But like, you know, she gave me like Prince and Michael Jackson and stuff when, you know, because it was at the height. But I'm always so jealous when I talk to music people because they're like, oh yeah, my parents like Rolling Stones and Tom Petty. I'm like, nah, I didn't get any of that in my house. Like,
well, it wasn't like my dad was. He wasn't like, let's go to concerts. That was never his thing, right?
No,
but
I'm not saying that, but just like put it on the record player,
always.
Put it on the CD player. Like
always had music playing in the house all the time, and it was like he liked more 70s, 80s, a lot of like Stevie Ray Vaughan and Cat Stevens and stuff. Yeah, and it was like, and he was young then. I think about like he was younger than I am now, and he was like just having a good time with a couple of Miller Lights in the garage, you know.
Weird to think about,
right? Crazy to think. And it explains a lot. I'm like, oh, I get why you are the way you are. You had 4 daughters and you were like 34. I get it. I understand.
And you have a PBR.
Right.
Inspired wrist tattoo.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
The math.
It makes sense, right? Yeah. But yeah, I just, I love live music. I just think it's like, it's always been something to do that I can have a beer at if I want to, but I don't necessarily need to drink. You're connecting with other people that like that. Maybe it's this friend that likes this band or this friend that likes that band. I don't know. It's just like always been my kind of go-to activity outside of work stuff and dog stuff and
work stuff and dog stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have like a genre that's like, this is the one, like, this is like, if I had to give them all up, if I had to give everything up except for one, or like a show, like a band, even like for one show, like you get one free ticket to whatever location you want to see this band at. Like, what's
I feel really spoiled saying this, but I'm like, I've seen some of those shows. Like I got to see Fleetwood Mac's original lineup. Cool. A friend this summer took me to go see Rolling Stones, like last minute called me and was like, can you be at Soldier Field in an hour? Which was like a good show. They were great, but like not the best show I've ever seen, probably because they're 1,000 years old.
Yeah, but he still looks fucking good.
They were great. They were still great.
He's still moving.
They moved. It was like a 3-hour set too.
It's wild to watch like him and then watch Keith Richards and like the approach to life, yet they're still both out there doing it at the high level.
100%.
And I'm not like a big Stones fan, but I know like Mick Jagger travels with like 2 trailers worth of gym equipment, you know, and fucking yoga and whatever else he's got going on there.
Yeah.
He's still firing. Like, and then Keith Richards is just like cocaine and drugs and awesome, but like still doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, good juxtaposition.
Everyone's got to figure it out, right? Whatever works for you.
That guy's doing ice baths and sauna, and he's 80 something and still performing. That guy's doing nothing, and he's still performing.
I mean, he's doing stuff, right?
He's doing stuff.
Yeah.
He's doing stuff. I mean, he doesn't look great, but
I also think it's like, if they stop, will they just die? You know? Like,
I've been having this conversation
been doing it for so long.
Been having this conversation with people a lot about retirement and things like
exactly.
You see, you know, aunts, uncles, parents, you know, as they retire, it's
the decline.
You see the ones like Shannon's grandparents are all old and like functional.
Okay.
Like she lost one grandma, you know, and she was 80 something, and she was cooking, you know.
Damn.
But one's 92, one's 94, one's 86, and they're all active. They just don't stop.
Do you want to live until your 90s?
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm so glad you said that.
If I could pull off like what they're doing, I'd consider it.
Sure.
But there's no way. There's no way I'm going to be that. There's no way I'm going to be that functional at that age. At 40, what am I, 41 now? I'm 40 something. And
40 something.
I feel like it's not falling apart, but it's like, it's not coming back together like it used to. That's for sure. That's for sure. It's not coming back together like it used to.
Yeah. I have that question a lot with people though.
Yeah.
So people are like, I want to live till I'm 100. Like, why? No. I don't. Not if I feel like this or worse.
I'd have to examine the situation at like 80. Like, you met JJ. JJ's only 3 right now, and I'm 40. So, I mean, if you start doing some math, you're like, shit. Mm-hmm. You're like catching this at this age and this at this age. Like, if I can make it to like him in college, I have a beer with him or something, like, I'm good. I can die now. Yeah. Like, I'm okay there. I'm okay with that. But
JJ's going to keep you alive forever.
I think that should help. We'll see about that. I'll do my best.
Running around. He'll be like, Dad, let's rip this beer bong.
Yeah, I'll be doing my best to go the other way. Like, Daddy's living different, making different life choices. But yeah, I mean, I've been having that conversation with people a lot about like just what happens when you slow down, when you stop doing, when you start to relax. That's when it all starts falling apart.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that's not a thing for me. I mean, I'll never be able to stop working anyway, just financially. So
there's
fine.
that.
It's fine. I'm good. Yeah. I'm good. I'll live forever. I'm going to live forever because I'm going to have to pay the bills.
If I stop, I'll die.
Yeah. I mean, well, so let's see it's been a couple years now since you called me and you're like, hey, there's like the thing at Solemn Oath. Maybe like we talked pretty at length about the opportunities you had leaving when you left Mikerphone. It was like you had a ton of stuff to look at, and it looks like so far so good.
It's been rad.
You kind of nailed it.
It's been really good. I mean, they were one of the first breweries I ever really was like, damn, their branding was great. The beer is great. What they're doing is just really rad. And, they've cultivated some really talented folks on there too. And I look at like even Jared doing the social media. So Jared saw like, I was doing social media at Mikerphone. He's doing it Solemn. And I'm like, damn it, everything he does is so much cooler. And so like leaving Mikerphone, taking some time off, being able to have those conversations with people, it just felt like Solemn was the right choice for me, knowing that I would also have opportunity to learn other parts of the system, right? So like, I'm definitely like right now I took on a position recently with them a month ago, actually, I think, director of hospitality and operations.
Whole different thing. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm working a lot more on the production side as far as like forecasting beer, working with our distributors, keeping everything in line as far as like, we need all of this paperwork completed, stuff like that. And
so are you dealing with like TTB stuff and like a little branding in that too?
No. So that's all John and Jared. They're our creative side. So right now, I would say I spearhead some of the events, but more so I get the team ready to take care of those. So we have taproom managers in both locations, event leads, people that like can handle all of that now.
I always forget two of them.
Two locations,
two of these goddamn things now. Yeah. So many good places have 2 now.
I know. So, it's crazy. And they're wildly different too. Yeah. Very different. Our customer base is different. The taproom vibe is different. Everything is different.
Naperville, it's its own animal.
It really is.
It really, really is.
It really is.
What a town. What a town it is.
It's a trip out there.
It goes from hoity-toity to anything you can think of.
It's just wild.
Tremendous amounts of money in some places, and you guys are tucked into a little spot. What is it? Quincy and...
Yeah, off of Quincy and like Ogden, basically. Yeah. I'm like trying to rack my brain. I'm like, I don't know. I never go out anywhere in Naperville, but yeah.
I mean, dude, like we together like lived through the whole COVID piece of craft beer, and that was, I joked about.
I think it aged us all like by another 10 years, though.
Some of the first episodes of this version of the podcast were, there always comes a point where like COVID ... like my COVID story and like our COVID story was very. I don't know, it's not the same, but it was like we were living a similar life at the time when it comes to work, and it was just like, how much different is it now? Man, it's so much different for what you were doing at Mikerphone before COVID, and then managing what COVID was with there was customers, there wasn't customers, we were inside, we were outside, we were, everything was online, we were coming to pick up orders. Like he had fucking the blue room was just or not at the Blue Room. The original room was just fucking tables filled with clear plastic bags filled with people's beer and receipts.
Wild.
Like, what? I mean, talk a little bit about that time, like how that affected you and what, just the difference now.
Yeah.
What you're doing with Solemn Oath.
I think it's like one thing too is our COVID experience was so different from like, let's just say somebody who worked in an office, right?
Yeah, and we were
or my friends that worked. Yeah, my friends that worked at a school. I at the time lived with a girl who was a teacher, and she was like, God, if I have to stay in this house one more day, I'm gonna flip out, whatever. And I was like, God, I wish I could just take a day or two and not be around all of these people for a minute, because when half the staff at every spot was kind of cut back. Everyone was trying to figure everything out. A lot of salary people kept, a lot of people that could do multiple roles. So it was like, oh, your social media marketing, you can also put our beers online, handle the website, but then you're going to help Jimmy Wojo run the tap room.
Shout out Jimmy Wojo.
Yeah. With packing orders and stuff. So there was a big difference from a lot of other people. So I wonder sometimes, like, would we have survived or been cool with sitting on a couch for a while or hanging out and making bread? Or I don't think anyone had it easy by any means.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. We were like building out that tap room.
Yeah, you guys were slammed.
I was at Crafton when everything started, and we had to change the whole model. I was just by myself every day, basically.
Yeah.
Just putting together orders.
Or you're with one other person,
throwing
right?
them on tables outside,
Yep.
and then I had Becca there every now and again. Miss you, Becca. But it was just such a weird time,
It really was.
Not serving people anymore. You're not having those conversations. You're not making those connections.
Or you're having really confrontational conversations. That happened a lot. And that, I think, was when I kind of realized, like, oh no, I don't want to bartend anymore. Like, I just can't. And not that I did a lot at Mikerphone, but I had to do it a little bit more with COVID happening. And then as we brought back customers in the space and everything, and it was just like, this isn't what I wanted to do. And this isn't why I left the pharmacy, No, I didn't feel like I was ready to kind of take the next step anywhere. And it's not on Mikerphone for that. It was just like, I needed to take a break for a minute. And so it just worked out for me to like be able to take 6 weeks off and did some work for the Guild and FOBAB and everything, and then kind of relaxed for a minute. So it was really much needed. And then I was like ready to go back at it and learn some new skills, apply those, and get rolling with it.
Completely rejuvenated.
Yeah.
I mean, you brought up the Guild and FOBAB, and we're right around that time now. So our mutual friend Katie, who's
shout out Katie.
She's fun to watch. You get her in the UIC, or you get in whatever location they put that sucker on it. It's fun to watch her work.
My favorite thing about her, though, is that she doesn't ever get like pissed off or annoyed with people. She'll respond, and I mean, we've seen it, yeah, and we've heard her, talk about it. But like,
she'll take a shot or something.
But but like she'll be like, yes, honey, or yes, sweetie, or like really genuinely give you a moment. And she has 30 people calling her names at all time, and I really admire that, because I am the person who gets a little like, I need 5 fucking minutes to figure this out.
Step away from me for a few minutes,
please. So yeah, I think she's a different animal. She knows what she's doing.
Well, she got boys that she's had for a number of years now. So
I know.
She's learned.
She's a mom on top of it.
We had another conversation about that not too long ago.
Yeah.
When we ended up being at Workforce. I don't know if I was working that night or me and Shannon were just there hanging out or what. But I got to talk to her about parenting and whatnot. But coming up here, obviously, you get the big. I mean, that's really Chicago's kind of marquee. I guess you don't have to say just barrel aged event. It's pretty much the biggest marquee beer event of the year, right? Man, what else is bigger than that?
In Chicago? That's it,
got
right?
Bug
which is also a Guild event.
Right. So what are you doing this year with them? Because it sounded like before we started rolling, you were saying that you were doing something.
So, we have the Lager Lounge inside of FOBAB. So we started that 3 years ago. This will be year 3, but it was this concept. I know Phase 3 did it. Back in the day, it used to be Half Acre or Rev, but basically it's the Oasis, and the concept is that
I was like trying to find the original.
It's one brewery
Oasis
that takes it on, and they pour a couple of their light beers, and they can take on all the branding, and it's just a place for people to take a break in between all of the heavy hitters. And 3 years ago, Katie had been asking me if I knew if anyone would be interested in doing it. And I think like coming out of the pandemic, spending money on a sponsorship like that was really difficult for breweries to justify. So we decided to go the route of let's just get a couple breweries in it and go from there. And I'm thinking like, we're tucked up on this balcony. We're going to pour a couple of kegs of lagers and that's it. And it was like the most crowded I've ever seen a room. It was nuts. And it was awesome. And then last year we brought it back and it was like, cool, let's have 12. I think we had 12 or 13 breweries get involved with it. And
Jesus, that's a lot of breweries. Okay.
Yeah. And it was like popcorn on the floor everywhere. And like we had scratch off tickets so you can win prizes from the breweries.
Like a Wisconsin dive bar feel.
That was it. Christmas lights, fake paneling, all of it.
I love that.
Yeah. And then this year was rad. It was like asking the people who did it last year if they wanted to do it, and most of them said yes. And then I opened it up the first time this year to a couple of out-of-state breweries. So
you psycho.
Yeah, I know. And now we've got like a wait list for it, and it's really cool.
How'd you decide to like just like had a good event experience with them somewhere? They'd be cool for this, or like tried their beer, like their beer, don't know them,
right? Well, some of it was okay, easy. It's like Solemn Oath, Mikerphone. I think Phase 3 was in it the first couple of years. Noon Whistle is just like hitting up my friends, like, do you want to be a part of this? We're going to do this. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. But yeah, it's always like friends and people that I know that I have a relationship with, where I know I like their beer. I know everyone else likes their beer. I mean, Goldfinger is always the first keg to kick every year.
Tom just killing everybody.
Seeds is involved this year.
Oh, get out, dude! That would be a fun little battle, right?
So
there.
I'm interested to see whose keg is going to kick first, because I feel like it's going to be one of them.
Throwdown.
Yep.
Speaking of
Lager Boys.
Wait, hold on, I got a camera up here.
We love this.
You see that?
Our guy.
First of all, Trevor, madly in love with you.
One of the best humans in beer. Wait, you got to hold that up again. Let's got to get that for the socials.
Madly in love with Trevor. But Ethan, I got to meet Ethan at, I think he was with Alarmus.
Yep.
I think, was that originally where else was he at? Was he somewhere before that?
No, I think Alarmus is the first.
Okay, so that's probably because he was with that pack. What a fucking squad they had.
I called him the Lost Boys.
Joel, fucking Chris.
Wild Boys, for sure.
I mean, I remember doing the podcast with Alarmist early on when I first started doing the audio podcast, and Chris being behind the bar.
Oh,
and just
man.
Everything he said made me just bring joy to me. Like, everything he did.
It's like stuff that you can't play to the public.
And he had a shirt on that said, I went to the blah, blah, blah. And all I got was this huge boner.
Yep,
and I'm like,
number one selling shirt.
I'm like, this guy is my vibe. Like, this guy, I mean, it's not my vibe, but he's like what I appreciate about people.
For sure.
This is why I like people from all walks of life.
That's rad. Yeah, Ethan is now at
talk about this.
Old
Talk
Irving.
about this lovely beer that I'm
well, Ethan's a lovely human. One of the hardest working guys in beer, too. And now he's at Old Irving, who is filled with a group of incredible humans like Trevor we talked about, but Matthew, and then you've got Tim
Mr.
and
Broyles.
Yep.
Broyles.
Yep. And then Cole is one of their new brewers too. You've got Max over there.
Yeah, I love Max too. I forgot about Max. Yeah. Max is like, damn, they just adding to the free agent pool.
And then you go to their front of house, and like Jen works there, and she's one of my friends. She's incredible. Their kitchen staff's amazing. Like
Food's amazing.
Yeah.
Food's just amazing.
Old Irving just like knocks out of the park when it comes to creating a culture to work for and like consume with.
Yeah.
So shout out to them for being awesome.
One of my favorite podcasts I've ever done with Trevor. And then Trevor came on again because I felt like I was too stupid to talk to Lance over at Omega by myself. So Trevor volunteered to jump on with me. So in case I needed.
That's how he is. That's what I love about him.
He's the guy. He is
that poor guy. I have asked him for so many favors. Like, can you do this event? Can you do that? And he never tells me no. So and I think it's the point when he sees me come in now, he's like, fuck, what is he going to ask me?
I think when you guys were doing like one of those outdoor like dunk tank block parties at Mikerphone, he was there with the son, and, and he was young at the time, and I got to hang out with him that day. It was just like
that was a cool party.
I just remember being like, "Thank you, Charlotte, for making this event happen, so I could hang out with Trevor."
Well, that's I think my favorite thing is like bringing the friends together, where it's like you need to meet this person, and I know you're gonna like this person, and you guys are gonna have this in common, and like.
It was like it's
so rad.
Block party, I think.
It really
specific
is.
One.
It was, that was a good party.
Was actually the night,
that was really fun.
Yeah, you guys were insanely good at doing that.
I had an Aaliyah t-shirt on that day. That was rad.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother. There it is.
Yeah, brother.
I was waiting for it. I was like, how many times are we going to say that during this podcast?
It's coming.
Someone better count.
I mean, I'm good with that, though. so you know,
drink every time we say hell yeah, brother.
Famously, we don't prep on this podcast for anything.
Yeah.
But you put in some form of like almost what you'd call prep, but by posting something yesterday.
Yeah.
And so what'd you get? Did you get any responses?
Yeah, I got like 20 of them.
So as far as I can remember reading through social media yesterday, Charlotte posted something on her stories about like, I'm going on this podcast tomorrow. Any, Joe says we're going to talk about what makes me. Any suggestions? So I don't know what kind of shit came through her inbox or DMs or her responses to her stories, but I'm interested.
All right. Well, we've got to give credit to Malik. He brews with me at Solemn, and
Malik?
he was the first one to respond. And said, "When you first fell in love with corn dogs."
Dude, let's talk about it.
Which is not something
Let's unpack it.
Yeah, there's nothing to unpack there because I don't remember it. But I'm like, what did I do to myself that everyone just associates stuff like that?
Like with trash food.
Trashy food.
I think it's all the posts or like the stories or something. There was probably a good streak
and I'm sure it's my own fault.
It was just like bags of Doritos.
Yeah, it's just like, does she ever eat a vegetable? Or
it's always like, oh, the key to my heart.
Yeah.
It's like, there's some Cool Ranch Doritos.
I totally did to myself, and I have regrets. It's fine. I do love a good corn dog though. So
corn dogs rule. I mean,
that's why I asked if you had them at
like
camps.
Mustard, ketchup. Like, what do you
I'm
do?
like
what
a mustard.
You
mustard
like
girl.
Mustard girl?
I don't like the footlongs because they tend to be a little soggier.
Okay. So you like a crispier corn dog.
Like a crispy corn dog.
Crispier corn dog.
Yeah.
I gotta admit something to you that you're not gonna like about me.
What's that?
I am so anti-mustard on anything ever.
Oh my god.
I am a ketchup on your hot dog asshole. Yeah.
Well, it's because you're way down out here in the middle of nowhere.
I was never allowed to live in the city. I mean, they kept me out, which is probably for good reason.
I don't like to judge people for how they consume their trash food. Like, it's trash at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, there was a point in my childhood where I would take a strainer and strain a can of SpaghettiOs and then save the sauce, take a Tyson chicken patty and make chicken parmesan out of it with a cheese stick.
I mean, that sounds like culinary expertise to me because I don't know any other kid that would do that.
That was just a little piece of my childhood. Just a little piece of my childhood,
wow.
Charlotte, that I
love
to share with you.
I'm somewhat of a chef myself. That's what you need to say, right?
Yes, exactly. That's how I felt. That's how I felt at the time.
Dude, that's awesome.
Dude, in college, too, when I discovered Mrs. Dash, I was like, oh my God, you can basically I'm the barefoot Contessa. Like, I was what's her name? Dina?
Oh my God.
I felt like her.
Rachel Ray in the kitchen or what?
Yeah. I mean, when you start throwing Mrs. Dash on, I distinctly remember, microwave mac and cheese was hot, It was like it was like a new thing. You know, it was like you could get a personal cup.
That's one trash thing I never got into.
Ramen noodles, college stuff, college dude stuff in the dorms. And one of the girls that we went to school with had her mom brought her a box. Ragu made it, and it was like spiral noodles with like a packet of sauce. So you just microwave it.
Hell yeah,
dude. Throw a little Mrs. Dash on top of that.
Like some good snacks later.
You know what I'm saying? Like Josh is the master, like the late night pizzazz Jack's Pizza post. Like that's him. Drives me every day. I love every time he does it. I'm like,
I go for Jack's Pizza. That is the best frozen pizza. I've gotten into huge battles with people about that.
You may be disappointed to hear that we actually had home run in pizza before you got here. It was a little bougie.
I mean, I like it, but I'm a Jack's girl for sure.
I'm a Jack's guy too. I'm with you, especially when you're talking like $2.50, $2.75 of hop.
Or it's like, hey, you can get 4 of them for $10 at Menards for some reason.
When Menards entice, it's always Menards.
Right.
It's always Menards.
Love it. Like,
they
why?
come through. All right, sorry, but I derailed us.
I mean, corn dogs.
Yes, hell yeah. Shout out John Kemp.
One question I thought was pretty. Actually, Kemp, I think, actually did message this. He
Kemp's
said,
Upper Tap.
Oh yeah, his question was kind of hard, so maybe we'll come back to that one. But I had a question. Say the favorite brewers you've worked with.
Brewers that you've worked with, like specifically the people
the actual
who make
people
the beer.
making the beer.
Okay, that's a
which isn't hard. I feel like I
just go punch myself instead of answering it. I don't know how I would do it.
I mean, I'm really lucky though. I feel like I worked for some really awesome spots and had really great brewers on my side.
Oh, you're saying it actually worked for?
Yeah,
I thought you were saying just like worked
with.
with.
This is worked. Oh no, sorry, it said worked with. It said worked with. So
I mean, you could go anywhere. You can
I
go
didn't
with
think
people
about
that
it
you
that
actually
way.
work directly for.
Well, I made it
or you
easy
can-
for myself, and now you made
I
it
like
hard.
that. Well, let's start with the easy, and then
Easy.
maybe we can unpack the.
Super simple. I mean, everyone calls him Tall Mike. Some people call him Sexy Mike or Hot Mike.
God, Mike's the
But
best.
Mike at Mikerphone Wachowski is
Yes.
such a rad human.
Absolutely.
Um,
Best
incredibly patient and always in a good mood. So I'd be like, hey, pose for me for this social media shot in the middle of him brewing. And he'd be like, no problem. Or I'd say, hey, I need more tasting notes, or I need to describe this. Can you teach me this? Can you teach me that? And like, I feel like I'm still learning from this guy, and he is just one of the hands down, like one of the best brewers I've ever worked with.
Phenomenal.
He'd be my MySpace top 5 for brewers.
Right next to Tom. He'd be,
Yeah, Tom, Mike, got
I was
it.
gonna say
Yeah.
you're Mount Rushmore, but okay.
Yeah, I know.
But
I went
that's fine. We'll
MySpace,
go
right?
MySpace.
Okay.
That's you. That's your era.
Yeah. Mount
I'm
Rushmore.
good
Who
with
still
that. I'm
says
good with
Mount
that.
Rushmore?
Nobody.
Yeah.
I do. Mike, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike's the kind of like. First of all, the amount of times I'd be like hovering around that brewery for. Can I get a podcast? Can we,
Yeah.
whatever. I'd be bothering Mike about something. We'd be doing a barrel tasting. And I'd be trying to talk to Mike W. And
Yeah.
he'd be,
Think about the number of like collabs they've done too, where people are just in his workspace every day.
Yep.
It's like going to an office and people are just in your cubicle all day long.
and I'm just trying to talk to him the whole
Yep.
time.
And that man's just like patient, and he's answering, and he's in a good mood.
So nice.
And he's so cool about it.
I mean,
And
as
his wife and his kid are really, really rad too.
beautiful.
Beautiful family.
And as a comfortable heterosexual man, he's one of those guys where you look at it, you're like, I could be gay. Like I might be gay. I don't know.
It's so funny because I had only ever called him Tall Mike.
Yeah.
And other people, I had heard the rumors.
Style,
They were like,
grace.
"Oh yeah, we call him Hot Mike," and I was like, "Why? What?
Because look at him.
He's so nice.
He's a baby
to
angel.
me. Yeah."
But and he is. He's just like he is nice.
and I don't really like consider
yeah, you don't look at it
coworkers
like
that way, right? But I'm like,
right.
"Oh yeah."
Very
no.
professional of you.
But he and his wife together, you're like, "Damn it! Why is it? You're both so attractive. What are you guys doing?"
Good for you guys.
And like creative and smart. Wow.
And loving and wonderful.
Yeah.
So you made it easier on
Okay.
yourself. You went mic'd up.
One of my faves for sure. I got to shout out Paulie though, who used to work at Mikerphone.
How fun was he?
And then
I only got a short period with him.
I've had
but
some of the best nights of my life hanging
Man.
out with that guy, having beers and just chatting.
he came from Miami, right? He came from
So
Wakefield.
technically he was from
kind of?
Michigan, then Jay Wakefield, then up to Mikerphone, then back to Holmes in Michigan.
Yep,
And then now
yep.
he is with Griffin Claw in Michigan.
You just made that up. I don't know. What
Not
that-
Griffin Claw. Griffin.
Gryffindor.
Nope. It's
That's
Griffin
Harry
Claw.
Potter.
It's Griffin Claw
That's Harry Potter,
Brewing.
dude.
Google
Okay.
it. I bet you.
I bet you I'll find it.
They are amazing. He's also just like another person that was in a good. He was my hype guy.
What do you
Like
mean?
every
What do
day,
you
like
mean?
coming into work in COVID, and I was pissed off and frustrated. Or like, oh God, I'm so like, it's another one of those 12-hour days, and it's gonna be stressful. And he'd just be like, "Yo, what's up? Like, let's have a good day," and just immediately like get you in a good mood.
You never were just like, shut the fuck up.
No, not to him. Yeah,
It's
Other people-
9:30.
yeah.
Shut up.
not now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's great. And then
All right, I guess it's real.
see,
I guess it's
Griffin
real.
Claw.
I think you made it up still, but that's okay. Oh my God. Hey, Norm's IPA. Shout out Griffin Claw. Shout out Paulie.
Love Polly.
Paulie's awesome.
Yeah, we still talk. We'll call each other once in a while and bullshit about life, as one does.
As
Basically,
one
this
does.
podcast right now
Yeah.
is our
I mean,
conversation.
that's what's up. That's
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yeah, they're great. And then in Solemn Oath, we've just had this, awesome crew of people coming in. And my favorite brewer that I've never worked with, though,
Never worked with. Okay.
but he's one of my best friends because he makes great beer. We talk about work, we talk about life, we hang out. But Dan Ray from Brothership is one of my best friends.
How cool is he?
I've known him since, I don't know, my first month or two in beer.
I feel like I missed out. Like on so much time
Oh.
I could have. I mean, and he probably is just like, Joe, can you stop talking to me? Stop asking questions.
He's the
so
nicest
great.
dude.
He's so great. And he just makes really good beer.
He makes great beer.
He makes great beer.
And he's smart and like just cool.
And all the love out to Monochrome and Lewis.
Yeah.
The brothers Flores. Cooking up beer across the suburbs and now into the south side of the city. But Dan took over when Lewis started his thing at Brothership, and I went there for my random shifts every now and again.
Are you still doing that?
Yeah, but I haven't been there in a minute. It's been
Okay.
maybe a couple months.
I'll have to
since I've been
coordinate
there.
it. I want to come hang out
Now
while
that
you're
I've been
there.
doing this podcast, it's like now all my extra time goes here and not to to bartending. So I just, whenever Nick over at Workforce calls me, like Nick, I don't know, you know Nick Cada that runs tap.
Yeah, we're not. I know of him, but yeah, I don't really know him.
Wow.
Yeah.
All the good things you just said about everybody, you know,
I know.
just triple.
You know, that's hard. It's like some of the
right
breweries
there.
that are out this way, like.
He's the best.
I know, and I've heard of these people, but like I haven't interacted with them a ton.
Their whole crew, that taproom crew, it's the best.
Awesome.
It's the best one to be around. They say the funniest things.
They also make. Brandon is a great human, and then like they just make great beer, and they're just like
trying to get Amanda to come on, but she's so busy. It's like
they're just like, look at all these awards we win all the time.
I know.
They're just flashing hardware,
and it's always ho hum too. It's like this is what we do. This is what we do.
Just make good beer.
Really,
it's not that hard. You guys should try it.
Jake Schufler over there, the freaking brewing it up back there. Yeah. So good, so good. And then one of the bartenders, she keeps a notes app of quotes that they say to each other during shifts, and I saw some good ones. She let me read it the one day. I'm like, these are great, and they're like categorized like Matt to Nick, Nick to Matt. Like,
oh my God, I love that.
All I know is I got one of the sayings I got, and I held on to it was don't come on my face and tell me it's whipped cream. That's
oh my God, I love it.
This is one of my.
Hey,
I locked that one in.
Yep,
I locked that one in.
Might have to just add that to the notes app right there.
That's what I'm saying. That's
have to say it.
Did you get any more sick questions from your?
Oh yeah.
Or do you want to keep going down the journey? The journey of brewers.
I could probably talk about cool brewers. So that kind of ties into this too. Is like someone was like, "Oh, let's talk about what it's like to be a woman in beer," which I think I've talked about.
I'm sure 1,000 at this point,
1,000 times, right? It's usually like, what are the struggles women face? And I was like, you know what I would love to say is some of the fucking pros of being a woman in beer, because there are a lot of those
pretty
too.
Sick.
It's pretty sick.
I know when we started, and like I made the mention of like you being the first. I was like, I just want to be at a point where this isn't even worth mentioning.
And I think it's important though to always like, because it does matter to some people, and it does. And I don't want to say it doesn't matter to me. It clearly matters to me, but I think I'm also in a position now where, after having done this for a while, being very vocal about this, like. Most people aren't messing with me, right? And I have it. I don't want to say I have it easy, but like I'm doing pretty well in a space where I have respect from my peers. But there are other women in this industry that are not so lucky, and they still face a lot of challenges. But that being said, being a woman in this industry is rad because like we're each other's biggest hype girls. Like we all want to like cheer the other one on. We're all excited for each other. Obviously, there's outliers, but like, dude. I mean, the Women's Beer Project I did last year for Vibes and everything, like, it was just so cool to see women who are new to this industry being like, oh my God, I work with all guys. Like, this is so rad to meet these people, to meet Michelle Foyk, to meet Shayna, to like
Katie
really.
Pizza?
Yeah.
Katie Pizza? Love those.
Love it, dude. It's just so cool. So, yeah, I don't know. Being a woman in beer is pretty rad. Like, you've got a built-in hype group.
Help you be more comfortable in your own skin.
The guys actually try to not fart in the office because you complain about it.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Guys, we are a very sweet bunch, aren't we? Really
you guys are really
go
crushing
out of our
it.
way.
But when I talk about like my favorite brewers and stuff, these are people that like have gone out of their way to help me or hype me up or let me talk through some hard shit with them. That's happened. I mean, I've had conversations like that with you before, with the guys from Phase 3. Paulie, Mike, and everyone. It's been awesome to have those resources. It's like having a group of built-in, big brothers hanging around with me.
Yeah, it's like
that tease me and pick on me relentlessly, but then also are like, I know they have my back if I need it.
It's like what if you put a line down of like, I don't know, 2013, 2014-ish, and all of these breweries start to come out and everybody was just fucking flying by the seat of their pants trying to figure shit out.
Some people still are.
Right. And then you get like those, like now in 2024, you get these gems of wisdom from these guys that have been doing this.
I know.
They've been rolling these dice.
Yeah.
And John, how long has John been at it?
God, yeah. And that's the thing. It's like working for John Barley. It's like, oh man, this guy is so insanely creative too, where like you can put him in, I'll be talking to him like this. And then he'll at the same time be like writing a whole process about like an idea or a pitch or a concept for a beer while he's like making eye contact and responding to me thoughtfully, but like in the same time also coming up with an entire creative concept in like 30 minutes.
So
it's insane.
I'll ask you this. Do you think that John is AI? Do you think
oh my God,
AI?
you should ask him about AI. He
might be AI.
He might be.
Ask him about it. He might.
I think he is.
Okay.
He's into AI.
That's fair. Is he? All right. Love that.
We have a beer called AI Doesn't Believe in You Either.
Fuck yeah.
Dude, he's on an AI trip lately, and he knows I'm kind of afraid of it.
You're like,
because I'm like, let's not piss the robots off. It's the end of humanity. And he's like, but you should read what this one said to me. He's like, or I cued it to ask these questions.
He should be keeping a notes app.
Yeah. I can't even tell you about it. I feel
me.
like you need to talk to John Barley about AI.
Well, if John's willing to talk, I got a seat for him right here.
It'll be days of conversation. You'll need 16 hours of memory.
Okay with that. We've got. Yeah, I'll get a second hard drive. And then we talked about.
I love it.
We talked about people that hype you up and are friends with you. Look at what.
Oh, shout out Jess.
What camera?
We
am I
love
on?
you.
I'm on that camera. I got it. Yeah, look at. I'm certified beer baby. I love wearing this shirt.
Yeah.
I love when people stop and take some.
I think
to read it. And
when men
like,
wear it, it's even better for
like,
sure.
What is that? What does that mean? I'm like, it's a person. It's a person.
Yeah,
don't
just
worry.
Google
you don't
Jess.
Know. You don't know. Or you should know. Yeah.
Yeah. No, she's rad. She is the ultimate hype girl.
I walked into Tony's today and bought 230 racks of Busch Light with this shirt on.
I love it.
People looking at me like,
see,
yeah,
that's
he
the
really is
that's
a
the
beer
best
babe,
part of
isn't
it,
he?
right? That's the best part, man. She's so great at it. She's a hype girl. She's a great friend. She's like a sister. Same thing, we get together, we have some beers, and then it's nonstop gabbing. We went to
Transient
Phase 3.
Jess. She's like, I'm in California.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm in
She's
Chicago.
just a
I'm in
little
California.
world
I'm in
traveler.
Chicago, yeah.
She's going to be in Austin all winter, and I'm like,
No
cool.
shit.
Love
No
that.
shit.
Yeah.
How does that work? I want to do that.
Remote jobs, I think, help a lot.
Okay. Jess, look up my cousin Nikki. She's awesome. She's out there. She's opening a wine bar in the next
she loves
6 months out in Austin. Yeah. She's a nurse practitioner.
You need to link them up because Jess will meet her and then talk about her nonstop, and then she'll have a built-in following right there.
Yeah. So cousin Nikki's opening a. I don't want to give away names and stuff because I don't know if she's got it all down pat yet, but her logo's awesome. It's very cool. It's very fun. She's like she's my age. She's the other Bobby, so she's Nikki Bobby. So you got Ricky Bobby,
such
Nikki
a good
Bobby.
name.
So Nikki Bobby's she's a nurse practitioner in Austin, and her husband they went down a path of a spirits line, and then ended up. They got a space, everything. They're starting to work now. They hope potentially by the end of December they could be close to open in a wine bar in Austin. So very excited for them. Can't wait to get out there and support that.
Yeah, I guess I'll just have to plan a trip to hang with Jess and then go check out this wine bar. I love this.
Get it done. Well, we can all try to get out there at the same time because that would be so sick.
Oh my God, can JJ come with?
JJ would definitely have to be there. He would have some things to tell you about.
Yeah, I think I want to be part of the JJ fan club group chat.
Dude, what a 3-year-old. That kid has no idea. So it happens when you have like an 8-year gap between your older kids and your youngest one because he's growing up fast.
I love it.
Yep. Yeah, you might catch him at any point in our house singing "Sexy Red." So
is that his jam lately?
"Get It Sexy" is one of his tunes.
Love it.
Yeah,
he's fine.
He can only say "sessy," but it
means the same thing.
Yeah, it's fine. It sounds great. It sounds great. It's gonna all bite me in the ass at some point.
That's awesome.
Man, are we having fun with it right now?
Yeah, I mean, you guys are pretty like interactive parents. I think you're pretty solid.
Out there.
I mean,
we're out there doing it.
At least on social media, you're not screaming at your children.
Yeah, we try not to.
Yeah, it seems like you guys have a good time with them, though.
We do take them to Kemp's Upper Tap, and we feed
Shout out Kemp.
We feed them cornflake chicken sandwiches with French toast buns.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
And you're not gonna not eat that, right? We're garbage people, and that's just the way we like to live.
I love it. They were very polite, though. They introduced themselves. They said, "My name." Yeah.
It was a big to do. Who's coming? Who's this? Do I know this person? Like very big.
Have they known all of your guests so far?
No, not all of them. JJ still asks about one of the guys. Actually, knew the family dynamic, but he didn't see me since we were in high school. So he's never met any of my family besides my wife at some point years ago. And so he came strapped with donuts from like a donut on a stick.
I messed up.
So even today, like even tomorrow, JJ would be like, "Didn't Mike bring us donuts?"
Yep, I could have won him over.
Hand him a can of beer, he'd be just as happy. He'd be like, "This is pretty cool too, man." She's like, "That Charlotte's got a spirit to her."
Just getting the kids a little tipsy.
Yeah. So what else? What's new? What's happening? We haven't really talked like on a steady basis in a minute. I mean,
I know.
I've been out of the industry for long enough now, and you started a whole new path. Like obviously, Solemn Oath is a big deal. they've been doing craft beer in the suburbs in Chicago as long as anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they? They're
almost
12?
They're 12, almost 13, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird to work for a brewery that's on that scale. And they're still small-ish, right?
Yeah.
But when it looks at volume compared to Mikerphone and everything, it's pretty wild. So it was a lot of learning experience going there and figuring stuff out and how to do it from that end, and also not doing social media marketing for them. And
how's that?
I don't miss it at all. Yeah, I just do my own now. Right? It's kind of cool. Yeah, and like I said, Jared's so talented and he's really got the voice down. So I mean, it doesn't need to be anyone else. Like he's got it. And
it overwhelmed me tremendously in that position. Like just.
It's a
even
lot.
Having to post once a week was like terrifying.
Yeah.
So the way Brittany would handle phase 3 social media, and like I would just be like, Jesus, 5, 6, 7 posts a week, and
right?
And everything's well thought out and clean, and like you said, the voice, like having being able
staying
to translate.
consistent. Yep. Yeah, and there's always the algorithms always changing, and it's like sometimes a post will blow up and sometimes it doesn't, or sometimes it doesn't get the reaction you expect, and that's a scary thing too.
And how much are you digging into it? Like you're looking at all the numbers like, oh, why didn't this work? Fucking Thursdays at 2 supposed to be the hot time. Why?
Right. Yep. Yeah, I don't miss that at all. I think there's a really talented team behind it, and they can do it way better than I did, and I think that's awesome. And yeah, now I'm definitely behind like the spreadsheets and in meetings and phone calls and working with the crew.
Fucking nerd.
Yep.
Jesus.
Doing nerd shit.
Do you feel like you've always been kind of, I guess maybe from the outside looking in, like I always think of you as being organized, a little bit driven too, maybe, should I say that?
Driven for sure. Organized
no?
It's hit or miss. I'm
like
a big
organized.
fan of like calendars and lists. Like I'm a big checklist person, but it's because I have
where is that rooted
unbridled ADHD. So like if I don't have a checklist, everybody will burn. And that's something I've just learned. I mean, I would wing stuff all the time, even early Mikerphone days of like, all right, I'll figure this out today versus like now I'm planning things a year out in advance and that checklist is made, or I'm passing checklists on to people and everything. But I'll lose my entire well-being if I don't try to stay organized because my brain is in 7,000 spots all the time.
Were you like a young, worker, like in high school, you like bussing tables?
Hell yeah.
Like,
14, first job, Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So,
the OG Pizza Hut where you had like waitresses and stuff.
So when was that? Like when was like the first time it hit you that you were like I'm actually like, I could be exceptional at what I'm doing. Like whether it doesn't matter what it was you were doing, but like that you could be good at it. Like, because people saw the work that you did at Mikerphone, and nobody thought twice about like, wow, that is a high functioning human being taking care of whatever it was, whether it's the beer releases, the social media, like that kind of thing. Like that was very evident to me right away. The way you organize things, the way you kind of put things together, the creativeness on top of it. And just like the work ethic, I think is probably easier to say.
Yeah.
Like the work ethic that you kind of showed and put on. Like, did that hit you at any point? Like,
no,
in your
I think
youth,
it's
like,
constant like imposter syndrome all the time.
Yeah,
and it really is.
Fair.
It's one of those like, and I know my skill set. I don't want to say that I'm not confident. I know what I am
like when
good
did
at.
you feel like comfortable in your own like kind of? Not that you're ever comfortable.
No,
but you know what I mean?
I'm
you know
not
what
a comfortable
saying?
person. It depends. There were certain things like it would hit me at like Only Child. I'd be like, damn, this event went off really well. And then Mikerphone would be like, cool, we've got some killer pictures coming out. We've got some rad events happening, or the flow of like jumping on to putting beers online within like a day of being shut down on March 15th, there were just certain things that I was like, okay, we're hitting strides here. But I feel like anyone else, it's like you'll be doing really well and then you'll forget something or you'll fuck something up a little bit. And from the outside, no one can see that, but you know it. And you're like, damn, okay, time to get back on it,
Just sitting with it.
Just sitting with it. And same thing, like I'm in this new role, so I don't know how to do everything yet. And I know I'll get there, but it's frustrating right now. So I'm trying to figure out how to balance all of it. Time management a little bit better because I am a little flighty sometimes or a little forgetful.
It's a fucking bitch.
Dude. Everyone swears by like blocking off time and all that stuff. And it's like, you can say that, but if I'm in go mode, I don't want to walk away from it. Like,
it's all about like what's locking you in mentally.
Right.
If it's not locking you in mentally, it's like,
yeah. And I'm that person who's like, if you don't lock me in, Yikes. Yeah.
I can be in 1,000 different things.
Yep.
Mentally.
Yeah.
I think this podcast is one of the few things where I can actually be fully present.
Yeah.
And really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think the more I think about it, it's like just that people are more of my passion than like an actual job and a career.
Right.
I am just so fucking endlessly interested in people,
right?
And what they do and what makes them tick and all that stuff. And it's like that. I noticed that I can do 3 hours sitting here and just listening to somebody talk about basically nothing.
Yeah,
like,
we're not talking about shit right now.
Basically, just talking about what they do every day. I'm like, that is endlessly fascinating and entertaining to me. So.
Well, it's appreciated.
I gotta find
that you think that we're
pay tons of money for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
But I mean, like just being like, and I know what you meant, but like you get to build these little snowball, like little victories, like where I start to feel some form of confidence. Mm-hmm. I don't think I ever hit it to where it snowballed to like a big fucking giant snowball and I felt great. But like there would be points where I'm like, fuck, I actually kind of nailed that, you know? So,
it feels good when you go home and you're like, all right, this worked out really well. But I think way my brain works is cool. Now, how can I make this better? How can I do this bigger all the time? And it's probably part of where that drive comes in then is just like trying to go next level against myself and compete against myself all the time. So it's probably a little messed up, but that's where we're at.
How do you deal with it like when you get bricked? You know, when you just fucking can't. You just can't pass that hurdle. Like when you know what I'm saying? Like when you get like you got an idea or something, like let's say somebody gives you an assignment of some sort, but it's like, you know, a lot of times nowadays it's just like, here's a thought, you figure it out. You know, like.
Well, what's really nice, I mean, for me, I think in the last couple of years I've gotten really good at like going into like rotting mode on the couch for a minute just to reset myself or to do stuff with the dog, like go for a really good walk. Yeah.
Did the walks.
Yeah. So we'll do that. Just to kind of help clear up my brain a little bit or give myself that shutdown time. And that's helped. But sorry, I'm
Dude, have at it. Parch out. You parched up. It's okay. I'm making you talk a lot. See, that's been the worst part about this podcast is usually I end up drinking too much because I'm listening and drinking and everybody else is
and I'm just like rattling it off.
Well, that's been every episode so far.
Yeah. So yeah, that's part of it. But I think like to answer your question, I think the best part about working somewhere like Solemn Oath and you've got this awesome team of people, and this kind of ties into I've gotten some friends lately who are like, man, you're crushing that event. It's so awesome. And it's like, it's not just me, and it's not even mostly me. It is such a collaborative team effort in every single way when we throw a really rad party at Solemn Oath or we release a really cool beer or whatever it is. It's top to bottom. So many hands are on that thing in the way that it's marketed by Jared or that John came up with the creative concept and the artwork, or Eric Lundquist, our artist, who's absolutely phenomenal.
Oh.
And then I've got, the front of house team, which is just like rock stars on both sides, both Naperville and Chicago.
I gotta start getting out there more often.
Dude, they crush it. They are so great, and like
been loving the beer too.
It's been awesome.
Like loving the beer too.
Yeah, it's been awesome working with people who like get it the way I get it, and they've helped me learn how to be a better leader and have more patience too, and things that I wasn't always great with, and like push me to be better and give them the skill set or the tool set that they need to do their job. But yeah, I mean, I think so when I hit like a brick or if I'm like, man, I just can't do this, that's when I just authentically go, I need help with this. Or John, I need to pick your brain on this. Or can you give me 5 ideas, something to just spark the creative moment so I can get moving on it? And it works out.
And you get that good, yeah. I mean, well, because I don't think the industry that we're talking about right now, I think is better in that regard.
Oh, 100%.
Than like, a lot of corporate America, or however you want to look at it. Like we're like, well, I gave you the idea. That's what we pay you for.
Right.
Not, oh, here is some jumping off points or like, you know,
That's what's so cool about it though. It's like, I'm not
you also
stuck.
earn those too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
and I don't
done a
abuse
lot
them.
without those extra.
Or what he gives me, I might be able to spin into something else, but like it'll kind of spark that.
You build up equity in what you're doing.
That's a good way to put it. And I can't wait to tell him. I'm like, man, I'm just building equity over here.
Just trying to bank a little something. So when I do fucking completely go blank and my brain is in 50 different places, I can be like, hey, man, I want to do this right.
Oh,
this
I have in my notes app where
I'm
John
lazy,
says Char was right. I've kept tally on that, and I'll be like, I'm going to use these.
I love that.
When the boss says that I was right about something, I'm like, there it is.
Hand him those slips.
There's my equity.
Do you have like you've been? It's over 2 years now, right?
Just hit two in September.
So what events, release, what anything that you've been a part of? Like, do you have like a wildest moment? Like, what are the stories that you guys are like reminiscing over during a shift beer or like a post staff meeting or something? Like, holy shit! Remember when that dude fucking fell into that globe outside?
No, because I try to prevent all of that. My anxiety helps me prevent all of that. Dude, this year with Oath Day, our anniversary party.
Was it wrestling?
Yeah, so it was wrestling themed. Yeah. I had actual wrestlers on site. We busted ass promoting it, selling tickets. We had like 500 tickets sold. And tickets were still flying through the door, but then it rained like nonstop all day. And all week, it looked good enough where I was like, we don't need a tent. We don't need a tent. We're going to be fine.
That guy, huh?
I was that guy. And I'm so prepared with everything. I always have tents. I always have everything. And we had tents, but nothing that, like, we had a bunch of tents, but nothing that the ring could fit under with a bunch of people. Uh-huh. And so the day comes, and even the wrestling group's like, we could probably still pull it off. We might delay it a little, because it's like little sprinkles, little showers. Yeah. We're all like, all right, fine. We sold tickets. People are still coming in the door. Cool. Tickets the day of while it's raining, still coming through the door. Wonderful. And then it rains harder and harder. And then like we have to shift inside of our packaging hall. So like through the garage door where the semis are loading up beers.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's like maybe a foot of space on both sides. And everyone's like, we're going to fucking make it work. And like they did. And then the staff is running beers in the rain to people like underneath tents and stuff. They're crushing it from the bar to a tent. Our sewers are getting blocked up in the beer garden. It's just like, what? And I'm running around. I've been wet since like 9 a.m., like just drenched from rain. And we're all running around in the rain for 12 hours. And it was like probably one of the funnest days. Like wrestling was rad, but like everyone had a good time. People showed up. It wasn't cold.
Great success.
It was just like fun and memorable. It was like, smells like a beer fest when it snowed.
Oh my God, I remember that.
That's what it felt like, where it was like, this is fun, but this is kind of fucked up.
I remember tapping the tents and the fucking glaciers and water just coming down.
Exactly.
God, I distinctly remember loving good at that thing, serving for Brickstone at the time, and it was, wow.
Yeah.
It was just pouring, it was just snow and cold.
Or people like John from Resident Culture showing up with khaki shorts and flip-flops because he's from South Carolina or North Carolina.
Yeah. Just crushing it.
And it's just snowing.
What a rad group of human beings that's one of my biggest beer memories is like one of the like right after it was Pale Popper and then probably the first one you guys had on site, I think.
Yeah, I think that was before I started working there, but I volunteered there that year. Correct. I did pour beer there that year.
I remember leaving there with I remember convincing Jeff Hardesty.
Oh God, he's such a rad human too.
I just remember convincing him to sell us all his 4-packs because you can get the distribution of St. Louis beer at the time.
Right.
So it's like OJ Run and like Fallen Flag or something. We bought every remaining can of beer that he had that he didn't pour. It was like amazing.
Yeah, I mean that was. I mean, I know Mike did it again this year, and I didn't get a chance to get out there for it, but. Always a really rad event too. Even COVID serving it as like a dinner and stuff like that.
Oh, I remember the dinner one. That's right. That was cool too.
Mike did a good job and still does a good job of making connections and hanging out with people who are kind of on the up and coming or just made it big too. And they're doing the same thing in different parts of the country.
Well, Mike was on a different level for a while there where he couldn't help himself but to be at some other event in some other state.
Like I said, I think all of us, it's if you stop, like, will you just die? Like, how do you and I think everyone's figuring it out as we've all gotten older to have a better work-life balance, hang out with our families more, try and take care of ourselves a little bit more. But it's, I think, a constant struggle in this industry, especially is like, how do you fit it all in? How do you show up to all these events? How do you show up for your family and your kids or your partner?
I remember distinctly watching at Moore Brewing Company. This was probably 2018, days before FOBAB, Mike had to come to Moore to get a keg, to pick a keg up for, or maybe it was, smells like a beer fest. I think it was FOBAB week because Bottle Logic was in town.
Yeah.
They were doing a collab.
Yeah.
Justin Miller, now, a hot butcher, it was a hot butcher at the time too, but Justin and Ricky Rantes were at the bar. I was doing a podcast with Brian Buckner, Brian Buckner, the group from Bottle Logic.
Yeah.
In the back of the restaurant.
Yeah, Brandon. Yeah.
Yes. So Brandon and then Sean and John Monaco, they're Burns and Evan, all of them they're brewing.
What a crew.
And Mike walked in the door and I was like, Jesus, what a lineup of people.
Yeah.
Justin's in the building, Mike's in the building, Sean and Evan, all of us, Bottle Logic's in the building, and I got Mike to sit down for like a separate. I'm like, I'm doing another podcast while we're here. I'm going to do one with one person from each brewery. I did the one with Bottle Logic by themselves. And I remember standing by that wall by the bar and Mike talking to the guys from Bottle Logic, and Mike explaining to them very specifically about how Lisa's, like I need to be home more. I need to stop hitting so many festivals and blah, blah, blah. And then I remember them being in him saying like, yeah, to kind of make it up to her, we're going to California, we're going to go to Disney, in whatever month. And they're like, oh, when you're there, come by, do a collab. And he's like, in. And I'm like, you just.
Yeah.
Yep.
He couldn't help himself. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think all of us are kind of like that too. It's like, we don't want to say no to stuff. We want to check it out. And like, we're hanging out with our friends. Great people. We're hanging out with fun people. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the thing is I'm not saying yes to stuff and being like, oh, I got to spend 4 hours in a room with this guy talking. It's like, psyched. I love hanging out with Joe Bobby. I can't wait to do this. Yeah, it's like
I'm generally psyched to be here.
It's a good time. And that's cool to say that's part of my job is to do that, right? Like I've met the best people that I've been to weddings and baby showers now and weird stuff where it's like, oh, how did our lives get so enmeshed? And it's because of beer.
In
it's
their
crazy.
House to listen to make a podcast.
Yeah.
Just
here we are hanging out with JJ
on a Wednesday night. We don't have responsibilities. Let's just do podcasts.
It's fine.
So we were talking about like Jess traveling, Mike traveling, So did you were you like a travel like family? Did you guys travel a lot when you were young, or did you guys kind of? We were like such a white trash travel family.
It was the Dells.
Branson, Missouri, the Dells every now and again.
Yeah. My parents were young and really poor, so no.
Yeah.
We didn't travel. I really didn't do any traveling big time. I shouldn't say that. Didn't do any traveling with the family. I worked with my mom for a company. I think this job actually came before Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut was like 16.
Pizza Hut goes
14, 15. I got a job at a company that sold motorcycle accessories. So worked in the office during the year, and then in the summer we would hit trade shows. So I was like Sturgis and Daytona Bike Week and stuff like that. So
what's the one in like Atlanta? The Tiberias. What's the island out there? They do a huge bike week. It's like
I didn't hit that one.
Oh, okay.
All right. Wow. Here I'm thinking it's cool. I went to Sturgis.
Sturgis.
God. Now you've got one I don't even know about. And also, how do you know about this?
I love that you're doing that at 15. Because I think it's Taibi Island or something.
Okay.
But a friend of mine was out there for something at the same time, and he was like, I did not know what I signed up for. So, of course, I started Googling it and looking it up. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, I did from like 15 until 19 or 20. And it was rad. It was another like a lot of learning experience, really cool. My parents were both into motorcycles and stuff, so I got to see a lot of the country that way too by doing that. That was cool. Callback to Mount Rushmore. I got to see that. But yeah, outside of that, then I was like really in my 20s. Got to hit a few spots. Like I did Hawaii, I did Iceland.
Oh dang!
Yeah,
Iceland.
That was probably my favorite.
What is that like?
It's like the most hauntingly spookiest, beautiful spot on earth. It's so cool.
I'm so bad. I've never even left the country.
The food is not my favorite. I did like the fermented shark thing. I tried that.
Oh yeah,
it's gross. It assaulted my mouth.
Everybody talks about it.
You have to try it, and it's expensive too. It's so
like
gross.
their Malort. Is that what you're telling me?
Nah, I wouldn't even call it that because
because you love Malort.
Malort's not expensive.
It's
it's
that's a good point. That's a great point.
Yeah, it's just like this thing that's expensive, and you try it, and you're like, I don't get it, but I'm glad I tried it. I guess I don't know, but that was dope. I'd go back there for sure. I don't know. And then,
what was the craziest thing you did there? Like what was, or like the most memorable thing? Even not even like crazy, just like.
I mean, I think one morning we hiked like a volcano. I remember crushing like a beer on top of the volcano.
That's pretty.
That was cool. Like as the sun's rising, and it's like you're in like a giant car.
Did you go with friends or did you go with
my ex at the time? Yeah,
okay. Just two of you, just
the two of us. Yeah, hung out, did that. That was a good time, and then
cutesy stuff.
Yeah, whatever. It was fine.
Demure.
Yeah,
yes.
very demure. Is that what the kids are saying
very
these
cutesy,
days?
Yes.
I don't know. I want to do like I've traveled for some Beer Fest, obviously.
Yeah.
Mostly in the country.
That is a nice thing. I mean, it can get a little chaotic, but it usually turns out pretty fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a fun way to meet people for sure. Shout out to Atlanta again, because my favorite bar on earth,
really,
which is also a strip club-ish. Well, I don't say ish. It is. But it's old. It's been there since the 60s. And if you research, I mean, Claremont Lounge, it's like legendary. It's entertainment. Right. I don't want to call it a strip club. It is an entertainment facility that is down in the basement of a really
Claremont.
old hotel.
You might have to text that to me. We have hospitals out there in
it's
Atlanta
a very
that
good time.
That I work for. I have to call Greg.
The first dancer was like in her 80s, and it was awesome.
Okay.
So it's,
I don't know
it's just
how
like,
to process
it's funny because I was there. I think Brandon Buckner was there, but it was like me, some of the guys from Zool, V from Mikerphone.
What fest was this for? Did you already say
it was
that?
for
Did I miss that?
no, it was for Brownie Bash. Brownie Bash.
Brownie Bash. Who hosts that? That is,
and
it's in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Where's Pontoon out of? Aren't they in Florida?
No, they're in Atlanta. I think they actually. So they had to
hung out with them in Miami.
They had to stop production and everything, and they had some legal things to take care of. And I think they're back up and running now for sure. But Brownie Bash was a good time.
Get it, Pontoon. I remember the name of that festival. I didn't realize it was in Atlanta. I think Eric Capron. I think he went.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was there. I don't know if he was there at Claremont that night. But
love me some EK.
He's rad.
I'm trying to get him on the podcast. He's done like the Beer Temple one a bunch of times.
He'd be fun to talk to.
Yeah, he's an interesting cat.
Where's he at now?
He is working for Hops.
That's right.
He's working in Hops. He's rubbing.
That's right. Is he with BSG?
I don't know. I don't think. I feel like, is he working for Yakima? I can't remember.
It is Yakima, I think.
I think it is.
I think you're right. Damn, and now I feel like
not that long ago too. So
all right.
He was with Dark Matter for a short period after, and then boom, all of a sudden he's
back in beer.
The hot boy.
Hard to leave.
I don't know. I saw a picture of him and Jude hanging out at something, and maybe at the Hop Road or something.
Dude, have you hung out with Jude and Natalie and their kids?
No, just Jude. Actually, was at Mikerphone for like one of the Smells Like a Beer Fest nights.
Okay.
That we all went karaoke after.
Nice.
It's down the street, at the bar on the corner there.
Yeah.
I just remember one of the guys from Weldworks was like really drunk and had a backpack full of bottles and fell over while we were doing karaoke while he was dancing with Jude's wife and like pulled her down.
Oh man.
It's a wild scene.
Yeah.
Good times.
No, Natalie is really, really great. Their kids are awesome. I've had a few beers with them. Not the kids, but
just the kids.
Actually, the kids were there while I had a few beers. They're one of those families like they go do stuff together as a group, and they showed up to a few Solemn Oath events, but also Half Acres events and stuff. And I've had beers there with them, and they're just a blast.
They're the best. I mean, he's just a great guy.
And they're just figuring it out. It's like running this business and doing all this stuff, and the family's going to be a part of it, so that way Dad can be a part of it too.
So everybody's involved.
Yeah. Can I get a refill of something?
Do whatever you want, man. What do you want? You want an Ethan? You want what you had? You brought me a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. What should we drink?
Hold on now.
Sorry to interrupt. I'll keep talking the whole time.
There's no reason to
Should I ask
apologize.
you questions?
I mean, you can. I'm going to be trying to dig for beers.
What are your favorite podcasts right now? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
Do you listen to other podcasts?
Yeah,
though?
Of course I do. But I just I don't know. It depends. There's a lot of medical stuff and,
boring.
It's very boring. I love Your Mom's House, though. That's like one of my favorites. Segura and Pazitsky.
Oh, man. She's awesome. They're both awesome, but she's great. I love her a lot. I listen to a lot of Bad Friends. So Andy Santino, Bobby Lee. But they'll have Segura and stuff on it.
That's Cheeto's podcast, huh? What do we do here? What do we do at a time?
Oh, that's a Great Lakes collab.
Should we do this one?
Let's do it. Pale ale?
Just split it? We can just...
Yeah, I'm down to split for sure.
Go halvesies?
Because I have to drive 7 hours.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's cool.
That's my bad.
Totally cool. But yeah, I love that podcast. I think it's hilarious.
I love Cheeto Santino.
He's a Chicago guy.
Chicago boy, exactly.
And he talks about Chicago almost every episode, so I love it.
And that I appreciate about that.
Yeah.
All right, what about FOBAB memories? Tell me you have some stories, some FOBAB stories in your
hangovers
lexicon.
from FOBAB.
Well, yeah, man. If you don't, what are you even doing?
Or
and the best part is you probably had 0 stouts. You all the hangovers from Loggers, Malort, and bad food.
God, the number of Tums I have to eat before doing anything with FOBAB. Man, I don't know. It's funny because everything starts to blur together after a while. But and there's always like drunken hot messes, but it's just like seeing certain people or running into them that I haven't seen in years. And it's like an old customer or somebody, and you're like, what's up? How's it going? And you're hammered. The Lager Lounge has been such a cool experience. I've been loving that. Last year though, Lager Lounge got kind of wrapped up, and then I went downstairs on the floor. We're helping them clean up, and Katie goes, hey, you go out a lot. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Like you have a misconception of who I am.
But she's like, you know this area. Like, do you have a bar that we should go to? And I was like, I'm not as familiar with this area, but yeah, I'll find us a dive bar. I'm like, we went to this spot.
Easy.
Spot that's kind of well known, right? And it was to take the volunteers out too. I get there first, and I'm like, hey, I've got like 25 people showing up. They're like, yeah, go in the back, no problem. There's going to be a DJ, might get loud. We're like, whatever. We're here for food and some cheap beers. They neglected to tell me that like 20 minutes after I got there, it was going to be a $20 cover charge for each person coming in. And mind you, it's like 10 o'clock after technically 3 days of FOBAB, right? Like dinner and then the 2 days. So Katie shows up, and I'm like, Katie, like I picked the spot. And then everyone had like 5 different cars and Ubers and all these things. And I'm like, I can find somewhere else. And she's like, no, I'll talk to them. She like talked this woman into comping our cover fee for 25 people.
Like, we will buy so much.
Yeah, she's like, we're going to buy a lot of food and a lot of beer. And like a lot of food because we're starving. And I'd already started ordering food before they got there. So it was like pizzas were coming out, apps were coming out. But man, that was like, I'm like, Katie's never going to trust me again. And here I am promoting a dive bar inside of FOBAB, and I can't even find us a dive bar.
Fucking loser.
Yeah. So, whatever. What about you, man?
What? FOBAB?
Yeah.
I mean, I only really, like, Shannon and I did it one year, just the two of us. I think we've done that a couple times, and that was fun. That was like when I was really starting to get going on the beer podcast thing.
How many beers do you think you've like actually sampled? Not back of the VIP or anything like that.
Like at the event itself? I don't know. There was one year where I was really diligent. They used, the one year when I started doing the podcast, they gave me like my first like press pass.
Ooh.
And they let Shannon come as
what
like
a
my
big shot.
Yeah, I felt like it. And like Shannon was like my cameraman, So here's me and my wife. We take the train up there, like we get out there and we're there early. I think this was maybe even the first year that phase 3 was like there. I could be conflating the year before with that, but we stood there, waited to the first bell, and hit like the big ones, and then I remember hitting everything and going to the sours room. And I mean,
so when the sours room was like in its own room.
Yeah. So many different beers, and like, but I was doing very good with it. Like I was pacing it. I was going little. I was dumping if I needed to. Like I'm very good at beer festivals by not getting to a level where I've seen happen,
Yeah.
And then I remember they had that like kind of cabana looking thing where Goose Island was just doing their Bourbon County stuff.
Yep.
And I believe Eric Flores was working it that day.
Was he even old enough to work that?
He was at working for
just
Goose
kidding,
at the
Eric.
time, I believe. And I just remember going over and over and over, and I don't know, there was a hot beer that year that I don't remember if it was like the Bananas Foster
like
one or
prop
double
16
chocolate,
whatever. Yeah.
And they had, it was just nonstop fill like the whole time, and we just ended up there for like an hour or 2 hours and not even trying everything else. And I remember like they had a form of the lounge that you were describing, like that you guys are doing now.
So it's like the Oasis,
but
right?
It was on the floor, and it was very like Moore, I think, had it at the time, and it was like they brought like strawberry marbles or something,
right,
and then lagers,
right,
and that was it. And they had like a spinning wheel. I think Hailstorm was with them too.
Yeah,
there was a couple breweries taking. I mean, Workforce might actually been. It might have been 3 of them doing it.
Okay,
and it was just like the easy stuff. That was probably my favorite FOBAB. The Goose Island stuff that year.
That had to be the last year before it was moved. I think
so. I think
that was
right.
a good year.
I can't remember if it was that year or the next year. The next year was the first. It was still there. Lovingood was there. I remember Lovingood wearing the button-up shirt with his own face a million times on it, like the trippy looking. Like, I remember him emceeing it at some point.
That was
and being hilarious.
Yeah, he was a good MC. He was fun.
He's the best. He's the best. Funny guy.
Marty from Rev did it last year.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was cool too. Like last year, we took Best in Show.
Where the hell? Where did it move to? Because I don't think I went when it was
UIC
moved.
Arena.
Wait.
So it was at the.
What was it first?
It was at the Forum, which is smaller, and then it moved to the Arena.
Yeah, that's
so the Arena is like where comedians
the Arena
stand.
once.
Yeah, okay.
I was there when Phase 3 had the Oasis,
Yep.
and
So
then every other time it was at UIC.
That was like that had to be 2021 then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that would have been the Oasis year because we brought everything.
Right.
We brought the fucking.
I know. I was up there getting stuff from you.
8 taps and
Yeah.
the leaves.
Yeah.
The big green leaves.
Your
We brought
setup
our-
was gorgeous.
Our giant neons. It was like our,
I have a picture of Evan like squatting on top of like a pedestal or something.
Gotta love
From
it.
that year.
I think it was Love and Good actually. Maybe it was me and him. We dropped a bucket down on a string.
I remember watching that from the other side.
I think was it Katie? Somebody filled up a bucket of High Life for us, and we drug it back.
I
up.
remember that. I
It
bet you
was
someone
awesome.
has that on video somewhere.
Yeah,
it might
I'm
even be
pretty sure
me.
Maybe Vicky. Maybe Vicky was down there.
Yeah, because Vicky was usually in charge of that room or like check-in. Yeah.
I just remember somebody loading that bucket up. For
Man,
us, and
it's just like
what a blessing.
FOBAB is one of those things. It's the most exhausting weekend, but it is just so good to be around everyone and see everyone and like hang out.
A lot of love in that room.
A lot of love and like a lot of good times, a lot of catching up. I feel like I don't get drunk at it because I've just been doing this, talking.
Adrenaline.
And you're just into it, and then like me becoming a part of it and trying to activate some stuff happening at it was like, oh, now I'm responsible for shit, so I got to keep it together. And
I think we're gonna go this year actually, so I'll get to see it.
I'm excited.
Since Kristen reached out and we talked a little bit, and I think Shannon wants to go, so I think we're gonna do the whole thing.
I think it's nice too, like because a lot of people want to bring like the DD or like the person who's not gonna really drink a ton of barrel aged stuff. So then it's like, well, they've got an option. Rev is doing the non-alcoholic like Super Zero.
Oh no shit!
Lounge too, so they've got the other Oasis that you guys actually had.
Sick.
And then we've got the other side. I think Malort's there this year. Bardstown is there. Yeah.
That's what people need on top of
their
14% stouts.
Sponsorships make events happen, but sometimes it's a little scary.
It's a little wild. To
I
be
get
like,
that.
Here's also bourbon.
Yeah, and I think they're cool about it. It's like you can have like a 1 ounce pour, basically, and that's it. And I think they actually do it like you get it's in your, when you check in, you get like a ticket for it. So it's like that way you're not able to just go rip shots the whole time. But people find their way.
I was gonna say
someone will find a way.
Somebody's got a loophole.
That they're drinking those 5% lagers up in the lounge. So you guys, it'll be great.
It's fun to watch like all the different approaches. You see like the high end 1%ers that are just like, I'm gonna rip every 5.0 on Untapped.
Yep. Well, that's the thing is I got to check them all into Untapped first. Hot takes.
8 hot takes, and then there's the I like you said, like I have so much adrenaline at an event like that. Like I am just like jacked up on life, on people, on conversations, on anxiety of just being out in a crowded place. Like, on top
that's
of
the thing too, right? Like it's a big crowd.
It's like my body's like, sorry, you're not getting drunk.
Good
get a little
luck.
buzz. You can get a little buzz. Like you can get something.
I usually get tipsy like afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Like we'll all get some beers after and hang and have a good time. I think that Thursday night too, after the Brewers dinner, we're gonna have like a little get together at our Chicago spot and have we've got like our pizza vendor there late at night, and industry people are in town, so we're like, let's go have some beers, let's have a good time. Our friends from like Lost Abbey and Trophy and stuff will be in, so
damn.
Yeah, we're gonna have a little party before the party starts.
Name drops, dude.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's our like John's. He's like, oh, we're brewing a beer with Lost Abbey, and I'm like, oh, I was excited to brew a beer with my friends down the street, but cool.
Yeah. No big deal.
You've got the Lost Abbey and the Great Lakes friends.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though.
Yeah, no, it's great. I think my friends are cool.
Yeah, I think so too.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
plus you like to hang out with them, so
yeah.
It's like, and you can mix those two things.
I
Why
try
not?
and do it.
Why the hell not?
I try and do it. So somebody at FOBAB was like, "Oh man, this lager lounge is so cool. We should do a beer fest. It's like this." And I was like, "That's a normal beer fest. Remember when they used to be just like light beers, and then in the corner would be 1 or 2 barrel-aged beers? That was what a beer fest used to be."
Nope.
People are just constantly like, no, we got to do that. It's like, no, we don't have to do anything. We can keep.
Florida made sure of that. Florida was like, guess what?
Yep.
This is beer fest.
Yep.
Now.
Exactly. They have completely changed what a beer fest is.
It's EpiPen Central out here. Like that's what beer fest.
And same with FOBAB. It's like, and FOBAB's got the other barrel aged stuff. They've got the sours, lots of lagers, meads, all this cool stuff.
Cool stuff. I mean, and you can go as hard as you want to go there. You don't have to.
Right.
And it's not like very rarely are you gonna miss out on something, you know.
That's the thing is I think you find where you want to be. You check them out. Get there earlier if you want to make sure you don't miss something. But for the most part, Katie does a good job organizing it where people are sending enough beer.
Yes.
And it's very rare that you're not going to be able to try something you wanted to try.
It's fun to watch like the volunteer pourers. Like,
oh, yeah.
You see some of them take it really seriously. And some are like, oh, I'll fill this whole fucking thing up. I don't care.
Yeah.
So,
and you're like,
take a drink out of the pitcher.
Yeah. And that's hard too. You have to trust that, I think that the way the fest is popular is like, it gives breweries a chance to not have to work at a festival and enjoy it.
Which is great. It's fun.
We all need that. But
everybody
also,
is upstairs.
then you've got to trust people who don't know your beer to pour your beer and do it well.
Which is scary as shit.
Very scary, but you just have a few beers and then you stop worrying so much.
I will say the people that volunteer for that amount of it's not an easy like volunteer.
No, it's a lot of work.
People
and they tend to be the true
they
diehards.
Respect it. Yeah,
who've been doing it for 10 years.
Or they're like the people that are like, why would I want coconut in my stout?
Yeah, yeah, it's the best. Yeah, no, they're volunteers like really put in the work for sure. Mm-hmm. They're all like great people. It's like you get the weird person once in a while who's just like, I don't care. But for the most part, everyone's just like so into it and they've been doing it for so long. Yeah. So we appreciate it. Dude, I don't want to pour beer. This is totally out of left field, but I was just thinking about this because tomorrow's Halloween. Yes. And we were talking about God, what the fuck were we talking about earlier? We were talking about spooky season, blah, blah, blah. But I've always wanted to ask you this because, I don't know, a couple of years ago, whatever, I don't know if you had a friend who was into, like, the photography world, but you took the pictures with the pumpkin. Right. Like, you and another girl, right? Yeah. Like, how did that story start? Spooky boudoir. It came out of nowhere to me. Like, it's like, boom, we went from, just here's pictures of my pizza, my Doritos, and my dog. And then it's like, boom, now we got spooky lingerie Halloween with a pumpkin head. Well, it was like one of those, our friend Jesse. So my friend Jesse and my friend Ashley. Ashley loves Halloween as much, if not more, than I do. And then Jesse is a photographer, and he does a lot of like weddings, family portraits. I mean, he's done stuff all over the place. And he was like, hey, I know you guys love this. I'd love to add some to like my portfolio. Do you want to? You're like, you like pumpkins? Yeah. I like pumpkins. Yeah. He's like, you want to try it out? And we're like, hell yeah, let's do it. So it was like one time. Like, what kind of balls does it take to do something like that? Oh, we got so drunk. I think about that all the time. We had to get so drunk. Like anything in that vein. It's not that in doing it was like, I don't want to say we got so drunk. We had to rip a few shots to do it for sure. All right. So you get a little boozed up. A couple of shots. Warmed up a little bit, and Jesse's awesome. He's Where did you go? Where was it? Where'd you find Ashley's yard? Actually, so we both had enough Halloween props to set the scene. And it was like by that point, it was like so dark too, and Jesse's like running out of daylight. This is supposed to be like a 1-hour photo shoot, but we're like, we gotta go put on a costume, or we gotta go drink this, and and I'm gonna tell you this, like wearing an actual pumpkin on your head, my neck hurts so bad, and my chin. Like, the weight? From like trying to hold it up, and like I would be like looking this way just so that the pumpkin face could face towards him in the picture. It was just so weird. Could you see? Like barely. Okay. It was a whole thing, man. It was just like a whole thing. It was like fun because she's into it, and Jesse made us feel so comfortable. Like he's got this incredible wife and daughters, and it's like one of the safest men to be around, where he's like, all right, do this, feel better about this, and how do you feel about this? So you guys come up with the idea, you go to execute, and then he's like, here, I got them, I edited, and you're like, oh, I love these. And then you're like, now what? Is your brain going, do I share these with people? Yeah. Do I like, well, it's internal conversation? Very. And it's like one of those weird things of like, okay, I want to, be that woman that's like, no, it's okay. Like I'm a woman. It's okay if I show my body a little bit. It's okay if I do this, but also I want to be taken seriously. I want to be professional. I've worked my ass off to be taken and be respected, like as a counterpart in this industry. Right. So, it was definitely a big debate for me. There were pictures that were never posted and never will be for sure. And it's like, well, here's this. And it's like, honestly, like I could wear a bikini and I'd be wearing less than what I am in some of those pictures. Right. So it is what it is. And at the end of the day, it's like, I felt good about doing it. I hope it makes someone else feel good about like the way they dress or what they do. And plus it was spooky time. And it's fucking, and at the end of the day, I'm wearing a pumpkin under my head. I'm wearing a pumpkin on my head. It was like, so it's like, if that's the like picture. An AFI video. Yeah. Like, if that's a picture where you're like, oh, she's so it's like, cool. Well, I have a pumpkin on my head, so don't take it that
like,
seriously.
I saved the rest for my thirst trap folder.
Yeah. I'm like, what's up, Tinder? Here you go. Only those.
So dope. They're like, yeah, this is what I go with.
Yeah.
I like to lead with strength.
Yeah. You don't see my face at all. You're just like, do you like my pumpkins or not?
Are you into freaking pumpkins or what, bro? Oh, that's hilarious. I mean, I just like totally out of nowhere thinking about that because of the time of the season, and I'm just like, oh yeah, you posted something recently, like brought it back out.
We did it 2 years. We have not done it. We didn't do it this year. We kept talking about it, but that's a hard schedule to coordinate too. And I'm just like,
bunch of grown ass fucking adults don't have time to do shit.
Yeah, we're like,
what is wrong with all of us?
He's got kids, and he's got like jobs that pay him a lot more money than the two of us with pumpkins on our head.
Us dipshits.
Yeah, I'm just like running around all the time. So we'll see. And Ashley's really busy too. So Ashley's actually the partner of Derek from Relish. So like, okay, that's how we all kind of knew each other. And
bro, tell me more. Tell me more about Relish. Tell me more. Like I'm just like totally unschooled about this whole thing.
I know. It's weird. I don't think anyone knows why I'm connected to it. So.
I see it so often now, and it's like, like we're all. I feel like I'm getting so numb to like when I see certain things over and over. I just owe it up to like, oh, it's just my algorithm. It's just my friends. Like it's just people that I know. Like I know I'm going to see Josh's Pizza at some point. I know I'm going to see. So like I think I don't like step back and go like, wait, how am I connected to this? Like, what is it doing? Is it like, I don't realize, is it that big that it's like, is it growing both. That much? Like, right. Because I'm seeing it in way more places now. So
yeah, I mean, I can walk through Logan or Wicker Park and I'm seeing his stuff at.
It's right on the cup.
Targets. Oh yeah. Well,
right Relish. On the
cup. I'm seeing it all over the place, which is rad. He works so hard. Yeah. I mean, so the Blackhawks hired him to do some stuff.
So cool.
He had to do like the Chelios retirement shirt, and I know he's doing a few others. Portillo's hired him to do a few things. He's always had a partnership with some of the ICP crew, which is he's an old school juggalo.
That's wild.
Which most people would never.
Shaggy Two Dope.
Yeah, that's his. I mean,
J.
He knows all. It's crazy. It's and they're like the most supportive.
That's so crazy.
Like crazy, we'll buy everything kind of people too.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Rad for them. Yeah. And then so I've known him forever. We actually went to the same high school. His brother.
Okay.
Yeah, he graduated before I did, but we had a lot of mutual friends. And then his brother was a little younger, and we all ended up going to the same like town bar, in Lindenhurst, Illinois, or Lake Villa, technically. I don't even know. Fog Cutter. Shout out Fog Cutter.
Fog Cutter.
He used to bartend there.
Northwest suburbs.
Yeah. It's off Grand Avenue. If you went instead of going right to Six Flags and you took a left, go a couple miles down. This little dive bar that's like a house.
Shit's real out there.
Yep, it's the edge of Gurney. It's right there. I used to go there fish fry with my dads. Okay. My dad. Just one. I only had one, I promise.
Dads, man. You lived a crazy life.
I know. Yeah, and we all met there, and he was doing screen printing and some design, and then I had him do stuff for Only Child, and then Mikerphone, and then Solemn, and I work Riot Fest with him every year.
Dude.
So yeah, and now we're making a beer with him.
Just fucking spraying music all over the place. You're just like you.
I think
you like it all.
Well, that and it's like, how do we're all like trying to do something that's a little different, and like how do we help each other out a little bit too? So it's like he's helping me with this, I help him with that. He's got some clients out of me, but then like he sends me free sick shirts all the time, but he's also printing for every brewery that I work at.
Son of a
right?
bitch.
Yeah, I only wear like band t-shirts and Relish t-shirts.
So awesome.
Yeah, only black t-shirts all the time.
Yeah, that's your whole.
I don't even have a choice anymore for clothes. No, it's just that.
Just what
yeah,
you do.
I've been trying to throw some white in there once in a while.
Whoa.
And then Jepson comes up and he's like, no.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
No.
Hair's going on.
Oh, and like slobber. He's disgusting.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he one of those? He's one of them little,
he's a nasty little
sloppy
dog.
boys.
Yep.
So, do you have, well, first of all, the music thing? Like, I love when I know we joked around about like, oh, everybody thinks I'm at like a concert or out all the time. I do love that, like, I don't know what I'm going to get when I see concert setting in your story and I hit that and I hit that audio button. It could be death metal.
Yeah.
It could be hardcore, fucking hip hop, rap, anything. It could be the most like bluegrass country, like
Thank you.
Right?
That's cool that you noticed that.
I'm not crazy, right?
No, that is it. Yeah. Like I said, I also rarely churn something down, so it might not even be my style. But if someone's
might not even know about these.
I know I don't like jam bands, like
a string cheese.
String cheese
situation.
can get fucked.
Yeah,
I don't care. Sorry, don't care.
You're not going to see Trey and
I'm not a King Gizzard gal either.
Crunchy Grooves or anything.
No, those aren't my thing. And like EDM stuff gives me a lot of anxiety.
Not for you either.
Yeah. What's it? Sandstorm or whatever.
I feel like we might be. I think this may be the deepest connection we might have is musically. Like,
yeah.
I have a very, very similar thought process on both of those genres.
But I do listen to like hardcore metal and.
Like I could go to Dave Matthews concert. Like that's a jam-ish band.
Yeah,
like,
I don't love Dave Matthews, but I'll go.
I can do it.
I wouldn't even say I'll go. It's just like I can listen to it.
But Americana rock, country, bluegrass, like that's the kind of that's what Workforce does a really good job of getting like that kind of music in there. Oh.
They do live music, right? Yeah, pretty often. Yeah,
they have like a really nice stage that they can disassemble. They can build and shut down like quick. They have such a nice spot for it, and it sounds great in there. Like
I love when a brewery can pull it off well.
Yeah, the other day, and he was incredible.
I love people like that too.
He was like bluesy and big soulful voice and all that stuff, and he was doing everything. Yeah. Like that guy shouldn't be able to do that.
That's always impressive to me. I think that's why I like it so much. Is I have no musical talent whatsoever. I played trumpet for like 3 weeks. Was terrible at it in fifth grade.
I love that for you.
Dropped it hard. Yeah, and also like you had to like spit. I was just like not my thing.
The reeds weren't for you.
Yeah, not a wind instrument person. Yeah, or is it wind? What is it?
Sure.
I don't know.
Fucking care.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fucking nerds. Just play the music. I like the way it sounds.
Shut up, band dork.
Dorks.
Yeah. I've never had any musical talent whatsoever, so I'm just always impressed by it.
You were at a show the other day that a friend of mine who's a very talented musician named Edmer was at, and you guys were both posting things like at the same time.
Were we by each other?
I'm like, oh my god, like the angles were fairly close.
Ooh.
Like one of you guys was here and one of you guys was here.
So cool. What show was it?
I can't remember. It was bigger show. It was somebody I wasn't familiar with, but it looks to be fairly popular. Almost visually had like a Bruno Marsy kind of feel.
Oh, Anderson .Paak probably.
That was it.
Yeah,
yes,
that was at Northerly Island.
Yes, it was.
So that's actually someone I don't. I mean, I like him, but like
you get an invite.
Yeah, and my friend Grace, who works at 16 on Center, which is Salt Shed, Talia Hall, Empty Bottle, best Chicago venues.
Yeah, okay. So
yeah,
that's all that.
And Salt Shed's probably like the best new venue in Chicago, hands down.
Yeah, everybody talks about.
Oh my god,
I haven't been yet.
Oh, you got to go.
I'm trying to think.
Outside and inside, they're both great.
Last venue like that I was at was Lincoln Hall, maybe.
Okay.
And I think it was my friend Murr was playing there.
Yeah.
The guy I was telling you was at that show. I think that was the last excuse I had to go out there and do a show.
Yeah, Grace is awesome. She makes those jokes too. She's like, we like different music for the most part, but like we'll always go along with the other one to be like, hey, I've got an extra ticket, let's go see this show together.
I will find some value in this show.
Because we'll have a good time. Yeah,
or just the people.
We like to people watch. Yeah. We like to just kind of, and we'll know a song or two, but like she's into live music, so am I. So it's a really cool relationship to have.
People watching goes off.
So yeah. Great. Oh, I love it, especially certain shows that you're like, what is happening here? Metal shows are the best to people watch at.
You know what? See, I have to admit, I've not been to enough real metal shows. Like people talk about I like metal or heavy metal. And you're like,
yeah. And then there's even metal anymore. You get
into this beer industry and you start talking to some of these packaging boys and that.
It's always the packaging guys.
You're like, oh, this is a different level of metal. Yeah. Like this is a whole another genre I didn't know even existed.
Yeah. My favorite thing is when you walk in the brewery and they have Dua Lipa playing, and I was like, hell yeah, and they're into it.
You never know.
No, I love it. The packaging guys have the best taste in music, I've decided. It's all over the place.
Kyle,
always good.
If you met Kyle Damon, that was...
Kyle's an absolute gem.
Kyle's, his demeanor and the way he gives to you, you would never be like, that guy probably likes the darkest shit ever.
Kyle sent me some really nice messages back in the day, and what a rad human. Just a really supportive, cool dude. And then we got to hang out right before he left, basically.
I try to get him to play Fortnite sometimes.
He made I forget what he called them. His name for his little hot dog taco Glockos. Oh my god, he made us Glockos for collab brew day. This man's out here putting hot dogs on tortillas.
He's the best.
Dude, I was just like, how have I never made this before?
Yeah.
Talk about culinary greatness.
What's the fucking like the grossest thing you've ever made? Like not gross, but like where if you told people out loud, they'd be like, "That's gross," but you're secretly were like, "This was
not made, but
amazing.
Like eat, maybe."
Both.
Okay. So I get a lot of shit for this one, but I will eat cold ravioli out of a can, like straight from the can.
Can?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's cold.
I don't. Hate,
it tastes like pure.
I don't hate
tin.
you right now, but like.
Yeah, it's
because
fucked
I've done it.
Yeah.
I've tasted it before. I know exactly what you're referring to.
And I'm into it though. Like I crave that sometimes.
I was thinking about when you said that. I was thinking DDB used to make jokes a lot. You know,
Yeah.
he would make jokes a lot about eating the ones you're supposed to, like the cold ones,
right?
Like in the bag.
Yep.
That's a different level. That's like gourmet version of that.
Yep.
You're eating out of a fucking tin can.
I'm out of a tin can, like a
Let's
person
go.
who can't afford to eat, and I can. So
let's go.
I know. Like I remember my best friend once was like, "You should not tell people that you eat that."
Yeah, but that's not you. Like,
And I was like,
that's not like you to hide it.
No, I don't hide anything, man.
Yeah,
I try to be very authentic to who I
sustain
am.
myself.
Yeah. And I balance everything. Like same with my music. Like I'll eat that out of a can, but then the next day I'm going out to a dinner with a friend at like run by one of Chicago's best chefs and we're spending $400 on dinner. So it's like we're figuring it out, man.
You're fucking wild.
I'm trying to just do it all.
You city people. I don't know how you guys do it. I'm like an old man now. I'm just like
I'm exhausted.
$400 for dinner.
Well, I'm not spending all that money, but you know, I'll go to dinner.
A combined table of us are spending.
Yeah, we're spending that much money on dinner. Yeah, I'm not doing that. So that's the grossest thing I've ever eaten.
Okay.
Or
that's the
I shouldn't say that.
Thing. Or like,
I don't think it's gross.
The wildest
I like
thing.
it.
It's like yeah. I'm just thinking exactly what you came up with.
Yeah.
Like that thing that like.
The thing we shouldn't eat. The thing we shouldn't talk about.
You tell people that they're gonna be like worried about you.
It's a thing I eat over my kitchen
sink. But you ain't
sink.
mad about it.
No.
Right.
Where I'm like, oh my God, I'm so hungry, or I'm a little drunk, or I'm a little hungover.
Over the sink.
Or eat it right over the sink.
Right out of the can because we're getting dirty dishes.
And they have the pull tabs, so I put halfway back.
So you can cover that bitch right back up.
Yeah. Or you just go for it.
Yeah. You eat the whole
One
thing.
drops to Jepson.
Oh,
we're having a good time. Yeah.
That. He probably really does appreciate that.
I know what I'm getting on the ride home.
Sweet boy. Do you have like a fast food like that just fucking you can't say no to?
God.
Do you have like a
I feel like I'm good at like I won't stop at places. I'm not like, I'm gonna go to Taco Bell.
I'm the complete opposite.
But I have this thing.
Is.
No, I'm pretty good about like I'll go home. I hate waiting in line, drive-through lines at night, always way too long. Not my jam. But
I saw a fight in a White Castle line.
Also, they're dangerous in the city. They're kind of sketch.
In Mokina, I was coming home from Brothership, and I was like, I just need
that's
something.
Wild. Well,
it was wild.
Drunk people get crazy.
The lady was like helping me, like trying to get my money, whatever, and then all of a sudden she looked behind me and just like took off down there, and then the rest of the restaurant came out.
Oh my God!
Because they have I don't know if you've seen some of these restaurants now that have like that's not just like a drive-through window; it's like a fucking whole floor-to-ceiling door. So they can just
you
walk
have fancy
right
drive-throughs. I'm sorry.
Well, like Chick-fil-A has them, like so because their people walked right out of the building.
Yeah, okay.
Like, but this White Castle has one.
Gotcha.
Which is wild to me that they have that. I don't know why they would need that, but
who's eating inside of White Castle?
It was crazy. I was just like, what is happening?
God, the number of times I made Josh Crane go through White Castle though.
That's
like
awesome.
I've made him do it a few times. Yeah.
No, Josh.
And I was like, we're playing nothing but Shania Twain the whole time.
God, I appreciate you so much for saying that.
Yeah, that guy. I owe that guy a few. He's helped me out a few times.
He doesn't care. He's just like
he's always along for it.
He exists.
And now he's got like Janet, and she's just like an absolute angel.
I know. I need to spend more time with those two.
I know she's an amazing cook. He doesn't need White Castle anymore.
I've heard. I've seen.
Oh my God, the stuff she makes, and she's like, "Come over, I'll make you dinner."
God damn it. About time, Josh. About time you got something right.
Right.
Yeah. About time you got something right.
Yeah, we'll give him that one for sure. But yeah, I have this really bad habit of when I'm hungover the next day.
Okay. So it's a next day situation.
Yeah. I order Domino's.
Oh, I love you. I love you for that.
But here's the thing. I had this thing of was ordering it and like, you do it on your phone and then like it'll text you and it texts you the name of the driver.
Tracker. All that.
So Piotr was my guy. Piotr's on your way. And I always was like, I want no contact. Leave it on my porch.
Don't look at me.
Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. I just want my pizza. Mm-hmm. It was like a medium hand-tossed pizza with like a Sprite, maybe 2 Sprites.
I love that.
If I was really feeling it, maybe some hot wings too. So that was a go-to order. And I was doing it for a while, like way too often.
Piotr knew.
Well, so they like, I always ordered, he forgot my Sprite or like my marinara sauce or something once.
You were livid.
I was pretty pissed. I was like, what the fuck? And he's like, don't worry. And he went back and he got it. And then he went back, got it, brought it back to me. And then the next time he came, he brought me extra.
Oh,
and I was like, all right, Piotr's my guy. So then I started meeting him at the door and I was like, what's up, Piotr?
Yo, dog.
But then.
He's like, oh, I thought you were a cat lady.
Yeah.
No,
it's just me.
Just me and this dog.
And the dog's like waiting for the pizza.
Do I smell like raviolis? I'm sorry about that. It was last night. Yeah.
Oh, it's so embarrassing.
That was last night.
I want people to listen to this for you, but I don't want it for me.
No, you should definitely want it.
But yeah, so then I stopped getting texts from Piotr. I started getting them from someone else. And I was talking to Shayna actually about this.
You're not happy about that.
And I was like, where's my guy? That's one of the best relationships I've had in a while. Like, where's my dude?
Like, I was using the Domino's app.
Because one time, that was like one of the last times I had seen him. Normally I stopped meeting him, whatever, and he was like, he called me actually. He's like, Charlotte, honey, your pizza's on the front porch. Don't forget. And I was like, this saint of a man. And he's like late 50s, real chill.
Don't forget it.
Oh, Piotr, best dude.
Piotr's probably like a regional manager. Of
I got worried. So it was like months without Piotr. And I'm also like actively not ordering Domino's every single Sunday when I feel like shit.
Well, that's on you.
Yeah, but it's like, that's not good either. So I'm trying not to do it. I don't hear from Piotr for a while and I'm getting worried. I'm like joking around with friends. And then one day I get the text, Piotr's on his way with your pizza. And I was like, no. I got to get ready for Piotr. No. I got to go say hi.
You get this robe off.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, got to brush my hair. I go out there and I'm like, what's up? And he's like, hi, how are you? Like, I haven't seen you in a while. And he's like, yeah, I don't work on Sundays anymore usually.
They're going to say like the twist was like it was his younger son, Piotr Jr.
Oh my God. No, he just doesn't work the day that I'm hungover and need my pizza like a trash human. So
I love that.
So yeah, Domino's, man.
I will
mess with it.
I will admit that I fully love Domino's.
It's good.
It's not a popular opinion in our household, but
not a popular opinion for anyone.
Joseph rides with me though. Joseph will ride with me. If they got to go for something and me and Joseph are stuck to ourselves for what we're going to eat, we're like, Domino's. You know who else is in that club with us? Evan Morris.
Oh, well, you know why?
Secret Domino's lovers.
Because Evan is a Lake County guy.
Yeah.
And we're trash Lake County people.
We
are from... We talk about... I mean, that man will call me and be like, Blarney's Island? Let's talk about that. Like, let's talk about trash Lake County stuff.
I know. Now he's back there, too. I mean,
I love it.
He lives up there now.
I know.
Man.
He just embraces it. Dude, he showed up at a metal show, actually, recently.
What?
I was like, you're not going to come.
Is he wearing the backpack with the baby in the back?
He did have his backpack, though. He had his backpack. Yeah, he was like at an event at Bitter Pops, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I swung in, said hi, and I was like, I got to go to this concert. And he's like, what concert? Maybe I'll come. I'm like, you won't show up.
And he made fun of the concert the whole time.
Yeah, he's like, I'm like, you won't show up. You won't show up. And sure enough, he showed up. And then he's like, yeah, this is sick. And I was like, we're one of like 10 people. It's like a Tuesday night.
This is fucking a banger, dude.
Yeah.
He's probably requesting like
and then I'm like, let me just take you back to your train. Stop, Evan.
So sweet.
Yeah.
We love our Evan Morris.
Dude, what a great dude.
Evan and I spent like an hour or two on the phone the other day talking about how we were going to ride this bike trail that goes all the way around the state.
Oh, are you guys going to do that?
We keep talking about it.
Okay.
I don't know that we're actually going to do it.
How long would a trip like that take?
10 days. We'd have to take days. We'd have to take days off.
You're going to take 10 days away from your family to ride a bicycle around the
Charlotte, that's why when you heard was probably not going to happen. But the fact that he has been thinking about it and knew as much as he did when I talked to him on the phone about it, all I did was say the word bike in conversation. And he was like, wait, what? I've been planning this for the last...
Did you know about this?
I didn't know anything about it until he started to lay it on me. And I was like, the more he talked, I was like, I guess we could do that, huh? Like,
what's the farthest you've ever ridden?
Like 12 miles.
Gross.
This would be like hundreds of miles.
Yeah.
Over 10 days.
Yeah.
With hotel stays. And his plan would be, he said, we don't even have to bring clothes. We can just bring like 1 or 2 biking outfits and then wash them. We just make sure everywhere we stay has a wash machine.
Because that's exactly what you guys are going to want to do after riding like 20 miles.
We're thinking 50 miles a day.
Right.
We're thinking 50 miles a day we'd have to do.
Yeah. And then you're going to want to like stop somewhere. Also, what do you wear when you're washing your clothes?
It's just some meshies.
I mean,
meshy
okay,
shorts.
I sound really negative. I think you guys can do it. You're going to crush it.
It would be the time of our lives.
I hope so.
I would imagine. It's like, yeah, we probably can't.
It'd be really memorable. Your kids would think it's really rad.
We were like talking to each other and you know, you like hype each other up and you like justify things. We were like, yeah,
we could totally do this.
And this would be good for your brain because like you could decompress. It's not about work, right? It's not about beer. It's not about the facility and employees. Like,
do you think he would not be able to answer his phone for 10 days?
We'd be riding our bikes all day. He's like, I just put an event in Milwaukee. Like we're gonna start distributing in Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
like,
he'd be taking phone calls while he's riding.
1,000%. 1,000%.
I'm excited for you guys. I'm gonna get a hotel room like halfway.
Happen. Yeah, that's what I was like, man, we get people like meet
lining
us
up on the side of the road. Yeah, party with you
trail.
guys for the night. You know.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. Party and then try to ride 50 miles together.
No, you guys are gonna crush it.
Just like hemorrhoids and like chafed ass.
Your wives are gonna be like, okay, did you have fun? Get the fuck home now.
Oh my God, so bad. Such a bad idea, but so cool.
No, it's great.
It's just funny that he was thinking about it.
Yeah.
And then just sold it to me and I bought it completely.
You would get into a cult in a second.
100%.
Yeah.
So
someone
screwed.
would talk you into a cult.
So screwed if somebody if I was being targeted, it'd be a lot of trouble. It'd be super.
Well, if I start a cult, I'm calling you first.
Well,
I need a true believer.
You need like early followers.
Yeah. I'll be like, he was a day one listener / day one follower.
Yeah, first time caller. Do you want to split one more?
Yeah, let's do it.
What do you think?
I can do one more.
Are you anti-haze right now?
No, dude.
Like, you're in. Let's take a ride down to Workforce Brewing.
Hazetown. Anti-haze. No, actually, I will credit Solemn Oath for, you know what it was?
Look, we have a Brando Workforce Soup Season Hazy IPA.
What great branding.
Pretty fresh release here. Oh, a little splatter, no big deal. Hopefully listeners of the podcast won't mind that I lost a camera about, I don't know, like 20 minutes ago. So you just won't have to see any. Oh my God, I just poured like the whole beer in my glass.
Yeah, you're like, do you want to split this?
Yeah, I mean, it's only a 14-ounce glass.
That's okay. I got a long drive home.
We got more.
You're just watching out for me.
We got more other things we can pour if you want to get into another one.
No, I think I drove.
You droked it.
Whoa. I drank so many mic checks back in the day.
Ooh.
Like a fresh mic check.
1, 2.
God, that beer is great.
I used to love that.
That I kind of got. I got crushed. I couldn't do a haze for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to Solemn Oath and Hidden Hand, the little side brand, like really brought me back in because they weren't overly sweet, super well balanced, really fruit forward, but pillowy soft. Like just obsessed with them again.
This is a lovely beer.
Yeah. Look at the color on this. Hell yeah.
This
perfect.
Is, they were not exactly like psyched about haze, when it was hitting. But they've
Simcoe,
really found a
Superdelic,
good spot.
and Citra. All right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm a little workforce fangirl right now.
Oh my God, their West Coast IPAs are so good. They just in their lagers.
Also, like they're barrel aged stouts. Like
I
I can't even drink that stuff anymore.
Sleepy
but
Bear,
that Sleepy Bear,
Chungus, all those.
They're always so good.
This is something I never do. This is something I think about every time I have somebody on. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to do that. And then we get talking about something else and I get distracted. My little squirrel brain can never remember it. And it's the dumbest thing, but like, obviously you're busy with work and all that stuff and you're the dog, you're going out, blah, blah, blah. Like, what do you just sit down and watch? Like,
oh my God.
What are you locking into?
Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, like what are you locking into these days?
God, okay, so and this is also like proven that it's really common with people, any of us neurodivergent folk.
Oh, you say that again?
Neurodivergent folk.
Think too hard.
Yeah, I know.
Talk about what's neurodivergent?
Yeah, it means we're
Something
awesome.
with your brain.
Yeah. So it's very common with people with pretty bad ADHD, and sometimes I think people who like are on the autism spectrum and stuff. But it's really common you fall into that trap of like rewatching the same show over and over again because you don't have to think a lot, and it's a good way to shut down. It's not a sensory overload. You're just like it's on. It's comforting, right? So my comforting shows, Schitt's Creek, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. Used to be used to be Parks and Rec, which still love, could still watch 1,000 times.
I think I'd say that's
and
mine.
Sopranos. I'll rewatch Sopranos like once a year.
Did you watch the recent like Sopranos documentary type thing?
No, but I listened to a podcast with the kid, and he was talking about all of it and whatever.
Yeah, Max just did HBO just did like the it's like a two.
I heard about
two
it.
episodes. It's phenomenal. It's the guy, the creator or whatever, talking about it. But yeah, and that sparked me to want to go back and
I rewatch it like once a year. It's so great. It's still like one of the best shows ever made.
Parks and Rec is pretty heavy for me when it comes to that like
so
idea
good.
that you're talking about.
Where it's like it's comforting, it's funny, you'll still laugh at it. Those are like go-tos, but I really got into this year. I've been into like Yellowstone a ton.
I did like 5 episodes of it, and it's not nothing against it.
It's like Sopranos, but like in the West.
It's on me.
Yeah,
I didn't follow through.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of that. What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh my god, I've heard so many good things about
the
that.
last season is this year. So.
I just suck. Like I get into that mode where I can watch something, and then like you said, I just default to something I know.
Well, yeah, it's comforting and easy because you don't want to get sucked in, right?
Because I need the commitment in my head, or like I still love sports, so it's just like I get into like a season, like a certain season. If I get too involved in the Cubs for the year, it's like it's 862 games, so it's like, and then now I'm just like in bed and I'm like, there's no way, I'm just not going to be focusing if we watch it. I'm trying to think like what I'm actually like. I'm committed to a small number of shows that it's
Tell me.
If it's new and I gotta watch it. And my brain is like completely fucking shut down right now, and I cannot remember what I'm actually watching when I watch it. But again, like you said, it's like I go back to like comforting shows, and like just easy turn your brain off. Like I did the House of the Dragons, the new.
Oh, I didn't watch that one. Yeah.
See, I did all the Game of Thrones and all that stuff, the kind of typical shit. Shoresy, love Shoresy.
Oh, okay. So let's talk about that. Letterkenny and Shoresy, absolutely love. John Barley is a big Letterkenny Shoresy guy.
Good, I love.
So
that.
we'll throw
more people need to sit down with that.
It is one of the best written shows. It is so clever. It really is. It seems silly and stupid, but if you actually listen into the dialogue, it is next level.
Like Shoresy, I wasn't sold on it at first, but then
even when they do
committed,
like the Letterkenny and like the alliteration, like fronts and stuff, I'm like, I don't think people understand how smart this show is. Yeah. Jared Kiso, yeah.
I make sure anybody who I think has any sense of humor, I just send them that scene of the Derry and Squirrely Dan and him playing catch.
Yes.
When he talks about the finger in the butt.
Oh my God.
All of a sudden they just stop playing catch with him.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm always like, I just want to throw a super soft birthday for someone.
Oh my God.
Like we talked about that at the brewery all the time. So yeah, God, Letterkenny.
That should be our mission from here on out, is get more people involved with Letterkenny.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, so the crew from Shoresy is playing against retired like Blackhawks players. Yeah, I might try and go.
Like on
I might try and go to that
today.
It's not far from my house. It's fun.
What rink are they doing it at?
Rose. No. Is it Allstate?
It's in Rosemont.
I think
like
it's
that
Allstate.
area. Or the Allstate.
Yeah.
Is it still called the Allstate?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
It is. No, it's Allstate. I saw Reba play at Allstate.
Hell fucking yeah, you did.
Fancy, you know?
Oh my God.
Oh man. I was with Dan Ray actually, and we got upgraded seats to it. It was
what the shit?
Such a weird thing, man. I can't
say anything. Last time I was at Allstate, it was an acoustic Justin Bieber show.
Okay, I like that you're laughing that I'm saying I went to Reba, and you're like, I went to.
I love Reba.
Acoustic,
dude. It was weird. My boss at the time had a young daughter who's like 16, and for some reason, her and her friends couldn't go that night, and she bought the tickets forever ago. So she asked us, like, "Would you guys go? I don't want to just eat these tickets."
Oh my God!
It was like me and another guy my age that I work with, just. You know what?
Just hanging out with Justin Bieber.
Damn good show.
Yeah, I mean,
like, wow.
there's a reason he's popular, you know?
Wow, this was, I mean, you're talking, I don't know. This was 2014, 15, 16, somewhere in that ballpark.
What, he was like 14 or 15 himself?
Yeah, he probably like in the 16, 17 range.
Crazy.
Like it was like the time when Love Yourself came out.
I don't know the titles of any of his songs. I'm sorry.
You Should Go and Love Yourself, I think was the, the hook.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Go F Yourself type song.
Yeah. God,
just weird.
What
just
other
weird
shows
that I was even there. Just weird that I was there.
Yeah, weird that you were at.
I'll never forget it. That's for sure. I'll never forget it. I was there.
It's
never would have been one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I want those tickets.
Well, you did though. You did say I want those tickets.
It felt like it.
Yeah.
Felt like I did. I don't know. I don't want to keep you too long. You're gonna have a long drive home, but what else? What else is going on? I mean, obviously you got FOBABs coming up. That's just beer in general. But like, what do you guys have at Solemn Oath coming up? Like, what's banging next?
Yeah, we're working through some barrel aged stuff right now to bring out. We've got some other new. I mean, we just have new beers constantly, and it's awesome. It's exciting.
Grind.
Yeah, it is. It's a grind, and I think some of the format and packaging for some of our core beers, we're changing some of that up next year too. So like you'll see some stuff come out in 12 ounces, which will be really cool. And I don't want to give away too much, but that's gonna be cool. Like right now, we only do Lou in 12-ounce beer cans, but you'll see some other stuff come from us in 12 ounces next year.
So funny when I think of Solemn Oath, like my history with them. It's like, I think of those 22-ounce fucking bombers.
Yep.
Everything. At Mariano's, at Jewel, at the supermarket, just Wreckage Master.
Totally.
God, like
coolest names.
What was the Tickle Fight?
Tickle Fight. And then we did heavyweight Tickle Fight champion of the world. Yeah.
Tickle Fight.
The names are always ridiculous and next level, and I love it.
Whisper Kiss? Whisper?
Ooh,
Whisper
that one I don't know.
It's Whisper
That'd
Kisses,
be a John Barley one.
It was called. It was old school.
Yeah.
It was old. It was an old one. Did something change with Snaggletooth recently, or is something going on? Snaggletooth.
No, Snaggletooth is Snaggletooth. So it was a core year-round beer. And we decided to, and then Kidnapped was released like once or twice a year. What we decided now is like Kidnapped and Snaggle will switch out every 6 months. And you'll see those at like the grocery stores and everything where we keep our core lineup.
That's where Daddy shops.
Where the dads go, we're like, you got to get that Kidnapped. And then we'll have some of like Ravaged and Death by Vikings. So some of the Viking series coming out this year still.
That was such a big thing.
But yeah, we've got
anyway, sorry, you were working on the stouts and
we've got some other cool shit, but I'm more excited. We've got Vibes, our next women's beer, actually being brewed in December this year.
Brewing it next month, okay.
We're brewing it in December, so it'll come out in February. It's gonna be a West Coast Pils, but
oh shit.
Well, that was a really
hoppy Pils,
really rad project last year, and it grew into something we didn't expect. I thought I was inviting like 25 women in beer to show up, and it ended up being like 102, I think.
How'd that happen?
I don't know.
What can you walk through like a day like that, whether it be like a Pink Boots thing or a the brew days that we did one at Mikerphone with just your guys' female representatives. Right. We've done them at Skeleton Key with and I was just a part of like doing a podcast. I was interested in the whole event. Like walk me through a day like that. Like what's your kind of, you're going there, are you excited? Like I want to talk to this person that I already know. I want to meet these new people. Like especially for like, everybody jokes around and says I have ADHD,
right.
Like, we all do. We have some form of it.
In beer,
right?
for sure. Like there's so many people like that. Yeah.
Very dog brain when those days happen. Like when it comes to collab days, brew days, things at Phase 3 when I was working there, it was just like, those were exciting days. So like what is a day like that for you guys?
It's cool in general though. Like this project's a little different from like Pink Boots and everything, which are great organizations, but my goal with this one was to like open it up to people that were like, Pink Boots is like you have to work X amount of your income has to come from beer, craft beer, right? Okay. To be a part of the organization, you pay fees, all this stuff. I wanted to open it up to folks who are like, hey, you might just work at this bottle shop like one day a week, or you might do this, or friends in beer podcasts, friends that worked at restaurants that served craft beer. I wanted to open it up a little bit more and get some of those folks in, and the goal was like networking. So it just turns into this like really rad networking event. And like we did a hop blend first, and I remember sitting in the corner with like Foyk and Shayna and Jana was there, and it's
what
like
a hard ass fucking name,
dude.
Foyk.
I know.
Michelle
Foyk.
Foyk was out there. Foyk,
I know. I call her Foyk still. I always have.
She was great.
She's. I don't think people realize she's been in beer for like 20 years and
great interview.
Fucking crushes it. And a woman that I like looked up to a lot. So like I get to stand next to them in a room and then sit there, and then we're looking around the room and we're like, damn, we don't know a lot of these women here. Like they're all younger than us. They're all new. They're all fresh. They're all like maybe not burnt out or frustrated by things. And they're just like ready to go.
Tail.
Yeah.
Nobody's jaded.
Yeah, and they're excited about it. And not that we are, but it's like we've seen a few things. We've all been through it. We all worked through it. And it was like reinvigorating to have that. And it was the goal. It was like, cool. We want to get these people in a room together. Some of us are going to feed off of that energy. We're going to be energy vampires for sure, And then the rest of us are going to like meet people that can help you with whatever it might be, whether it's a friendship or you're going to say, hey, I need help with my resume, or are you hiring? Or, hey, I really am not sure how to handle this situation at work. Can you walk me through what you would do as an owner or a leader? And it was just so sick to see and like see people get excited about it. Because you walk into brew day, when you've done 1 or 2 or 3, when you've done 10, 15, 20 collab days, you know what a collab day is. You walk in, you say hi, you take some action shots, you drink some beers, you eat some food, and then you drink some more beers. And it's fun and it's great. But those first couple, like, they're truly kind of special.
You look over and see Emily in her overalls graining in, out. You know what you might get.
And that was cool. It was like some of the women that have done it 1,000 times were like, you know what? I'm going to hop up on the brew deck. It's been a minute. Or they're talking to everyone else and asking where they're from and who they are and what they're doing. And looking around that room, as chaotic as it was so sick. It was just like, oh, this is exactly what I wanted to happen.
So many people.
And it was like, oh, I work at a bottle shop selling your beer. Like, I sell 20 different breweries that are all in this room. Yeah. And those are people we don't always consider inviting out to this stuff, right? So I wanted to make it as like inclusive as possible for anyone to feel comfortable with. And I think the goal was accomplished. And Pink Boots was still a part of it, which was great. And, you know, we paid like homage to like the women in Chicago that created community. So it was like the original founding women of Chicago, like Jane Addams and stuff, that were like, let's take this dilapidated building on the west side and create a spot where people can have healthcare access and childcare and education and arts. And we'll throw little concerts and plays and whatever it is to get people in a room together. And that's like what it's all about for me. So I want to throw a party in any way possible. And so the women's beer accomplished that. It was cool. We raised some money too, which was always good.
Raising money.
Yeah, and we decided to bring it back this year.
You got to pull some like stories out of that, right? I mean, you got to hear some stories or get like some inspiration from people. Like, did you like have anything stick out to you in the last time you guys did this? Like, was this anything that you can pull and be like, oh yeah, like hearing this person's story?
Yeah. I mean, it was just like, I remember just some of the younger women coming in, and there were like 2 or 3 that were just like, oh, I work with like 5 guys. Either our brewery's small or our tap room's really tiny. Mm-hmm. And I never had anyone that I could just like feel comfortable asking this question to, or I didn't even know that this was a thing or that this was possible, or I've never knew how to brew a beer and no one sat down and talked to me, but I'm selling craft beer all day. And it's like, not putting blame on anyone. It's like we're all caught up in our own things, but like taking a moment to sit there and educate someone else about craft beer and the process behind it,
value,
why we all do it. Is it going to make them appreciate it more and want to do it more and like be jazzed about it? So
keep the industry alive. I mean,
let's keep it going as much as we can.
Because right, I mean, it's like it's a completely different world.
Very different.
You've watched it.
Yeah.
Post pandemic.
And I haven't been doing it as long as other people have. I mean, they saw peaks that I didn't see even. I feel like I came in kind of, I think 2016, 2015. I mean,
hockey stick for a long time. It was just like, everything was up and to the right. Everything was big money. Not big money, but like, you know,
it was just sales.
Everything was working.
Yeah.
Every drop you made was getting sold.
And then it was like, oh, we can open one right here, and everyone will be into it.
Yep. Find me the ugliest, most secluded building in the town.
Yeah.
I will buy it.
And people will come to it.
Yes.
You build it, they will come.
Yes,
yeah.
We will buy that.
Yeah. So it's exciting. We're bringing it back. We're opening it up now to some of our neighbors in the Midwest. So it'll be Vibes from the Heartland instead of Vibes
from the Heartland.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, Vibes from the Heartland, and it'll be...
What does that country bluegrass playlist look like?
Oh, dude, it's going to be sick. Just you wait. Because the label itself is like a dive bar label.
Okay.
Yeah.
You are so inspired by dive. Like, what happened to you at a young age that you were just like...
I think it's young
wood
parents.
paneling and fucking Christmas lights.
Think about like a Midwestern bar. What would you picture?
I don't even have to picture it. I live it.
Yeah, that's it. A Midwestern bar is wood paneling, checkered floor, popcorn, pool table, neon lights, wood Christmas lights.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter.
Probably a dog sleeping somewhere.
Yeah.
That label has all of it. So
a little tear in your bar stool.
Yep. I was trying to think about like in the Midwest scene, what do we all have in common? And it was like, okay, well, we all drink at a bar that looks like this. So it just made sense.
Makes a ton of sense.
Yeah. So we're excited for it. Ethan.
This was good, by the way. Just
Ethan.
Just a quick side note. Yeah, that was good.
Well, it's also Old Irving. They just make good beer.
Obviously. But
I mean, they're like, oh, we can win golds for our hazy and then also have Krampus come out every year and crush it. And then all of our lagers are incredible.
Silly Chicago.
And they make the best cheese curds. I'm not kidding you. The best.
Oh, their cheese curds are incredible. They're so
Next
ridiculous.
level.
They're so ridiculous. I'm glad that place.
They
came
won
into
our
my
burger
life.
challenge too. Like, get out of here.
Well, if you go back and listen to the first time I had Trevor on the podcast, it's like you see the connection between the food and the beer.
Oh my! And that's what it is. His culinary background.
It's just all
he invited me over
connected.
to like a Super Bowl party last year, and I still talk about this. Is like he just had these hot little sandwiches. They're like jardiniere, ham Swiss. I don't even know what was on them, but I think about them all the time, like constantly. It's been almost
the kind of shit I've been looking for. Right here.
I just think about them
that
all the time.
The passion that you're telling this story rivals,
I think about those sandwiches constantly.
I know Trevor's the man.
Yeah.
He's the man. And
I should have had
the
him.
passion for his like food when he spoke was just like crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I should have had him make us some for this. Or if you interview him again, I'm going to show up and be like, where are we eating these or not?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'll go to his house right now and be like, where are the sandwiches?
Are you ever going to have more than one guest on?
Yeah, I've had a couple
You're
conversations.
just going to have like 7,000 microphones and cameras on?
I've had a couple conversations about doing that. I actually do have a leaf for this table, and there's a whole lot of like.
I want my own
parts.
desk.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of moving parts happening with the camera setup. I'm trying out some things in the new regime here. Video is a whole new animal to tackle.
Dude, people were so excited you brought this back.
None more than me. Trust me. I don't give a shit if 2 people listen to it.
No.
I've got like friends.
I'm not okay. Can I talk about how many times I've already cried listening to this podcast, which I was not ready for?
He's the best guy. If you're talking about Mike Fumagalli's
yes,
story,
but
he's
you had someone last week talking about their Maine Coon cat, which I don't even like cats.
That's Jim.
I was laughing so hard I was crying, but
amazing. Jim the mortician.
Yeah, dude, you've had a really cool collection of people, but it's been fun to talk about and listen to things about other than beer. And I was panicking because I'm like, what else do I do other than beer?
What else do I know? Yeah.
Snacks, Jepsen, concerts.
Well, that's the thing, right? Yeah. It becomes such like a part of our identity.
It really
our,
does.
Personality.
Yeah.
Like that was something that plagued me and it wasn't a plague. It was fucking great. I loved working in beer every minute of it. But it was something that I realized like that podcast became not a thing anymore because I was so deep. I was too close to it.
Right.
So I couldn't like be as passionate and fun like and excited as I was for those conversations once I was in it. So it kind of lost the life.
I wouldn't even think of that.
This is nice to be back and like doing something and being able to ask people questions about whatever instead of just like trying to keep it on a beer track, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I like to see what makes people tick. Like, I don't know. And it's as much as that someone's comfortable sharing,
Yeah.
It's like somebody could have a craziest story, like that guy, Mike, who lost his wife.
Right.
It's like he's willing to share that story.
Yeah.
Some people have a crazy ass story, but
everyone does.
It's just not comfortable for them to,
right.
or natural or, whatever it is, they keep it.
No, there's some, we would need 7 more days if you want to talk about the trauma.
Just unbox.
Yeah. It would be like therapy
trauma.
Times with Joe.
Well, that's what I
talk therapy. I'm telling you.
I always think about like, man, I hope that can become this at some point. Where it's like you can use this as like a mental health type of conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just like unpacking. I don't care. Like I'll unpack anything with anybody just to hear it. Just because people have gone through their own thing and I've only gone through my thing. So
right.
I love to see it from my perspective and then hear other people so I can like potentially gain another perspective, gain like a zoomed out view.
That's what it's about.
Yeah. I don't know. I think to a fault that like my brain is always working in that mode of like, could be worse, or it could be, you could be doing this. So.
Well, you find some humility, you find some grace. You also, it's not easy to listen to some of those stories though too. And I think like that's a big deal, being able to take on some of that and absorb it.
Yeah, I just am here to hear it, and I'm fascinated by it, and it's to a fault of like, I don't know if I should be asking this question as a follow up, but I'm here.
It seemed like it was working well.
I need to ask. I don't know. Well, I think as people understand, like I'm coming from a place of like I care.
It is a true like place of love of like, well, I'm asking you this because it's like
curious.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, because I don't know what I'm gonna do. Because I have like what a lot of people have. It's like every story I hear, every situation presented to me, constantly just immediately put myself in it because I'm self-centric, and I'm not trying to say like I'm self-centered and narcissistic. It's just
no, but humans are that way.
I always tend to think, oh, well, immediately, like what would I do?
Right.
Like what would I do? I don't know. It's programming, whatever it is, the way I am. So
you also never know how you would react until you're in that situation.
Well, that's something I believe 1,000%.
Yeah.
Like, when people say things like, I don't know what I do, or I could never do what you did. I'm like, yeah, you probably could, or you don't know.
Dude, I do not want to end the show on like some heavy shit at all with you, but like, I've had some experiences and some heavy shit happen, and you've been aware of some of that too. And it was always one of those things that people were like, well, I never expected that to happen to you, or I didn't know that could happen to you. And it's like, oh, but it does. And it happens to people all the time. And I think it's important to, like, you never know, or they'd be like, oh, I expected you to be a little more vocal about it or talk about it, and it's like,
Charlotte doesn't shut her mouth. She's out there telling everybody.
She's going to be out there just putting it on Instagram.
Can you just shut up? Like, you just let it go?
And there's just some things where it's like, you don't know how you'll react,
like trigger points
until it happens.
Things,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone reacts differently. So it is fresh perspective is always nice. And you can always say, what would I do? But until it happens to you, no one knows what's going to happen, what you would do.
Yeah. That's something I believe in wholeheartedly. Like, and I also believe that people are stronger than they think they are.
Totally.
I think they're stronger than they think they are. And I have nothing to base that off of. I have lived one of the luckiest lives of, like,
that's so cool.
Not much trauma, not much drama. Like, my parents were nice to each other. They didn't, there wasn't a lot of screaming or,
Maybe that's what makes you a good host for this.
I don't know. Yeah, it's because I've led the most vanilla life ever. So it's just like, all right.
I think that's cool though.
I've been lucky. Good people. Nothing too high, nothing too low.
Right.
That's why it's literally been called Average Joe since the beginning, because it's literally the only view I have of myself is like, you're just average, luck in that kind of in that regard. So it's something that when I talk to other people, blows my mind. Like, I love hearing like all these like outlier stories and these crazy, ways that you brought up, or these sources of inspiration, or how you handle adversity, trauma. Like, you hear people say like the worst thing that's ever happened to you is the worst thing that's ever happened to you. So being able to balance, like, perspective. I love to have perspective and be like, but it could be worse. But I also love, like, if that's the shittiest thing that's ever happened to you, imagine. Yeah. That's your perspective on it. Right. So if you think I'm being over dramatic because you've been through something way worse, sure. But this is my reality, and this is what I'm going through. So it's like, this is the way you're going to see me react to it.
Totally.
And having respect for that, and not being like, oh, dude, what are you bitching about? Like, you could be so much worse. Like,
and I don't think that's fair to do to people too.
Right.
I think it's cool to say, like, I think it's exciting to be like, oh, you haven't experienced something like that. And guess what? Life is still happening. Like, God forbid, like, I would never want anything bad to happen to anyone, but like, life happens all the time. And like, I don't think it's fair to say, oh, way worse shit happens. It's like what you exactly said. It's like, dude, you don't know the toll it takes on someone and what could happen. So I don't know. I'm thankful. Like, that's the thing as I think about too, is like, I have been through some shit, but I know people have been through some shit too. And it's like, I don't know. I live a pretty cool life. I've got a dog and a house and like, I've got a job I really love and people in my life that are really supportive and rad.
I've also never met anybody interesting or like that draws me in that's just been through nothing.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it. I think the most like interesting people have been like, I got a few things we could talk about.
There's some shit, like there's some shit happening. And it doesn't have to be like bad shit,
That's not true though, because I think you're interesting and fun to talk to.
Well, I mean, and there's no part about me says to myself like, God, I wish more crazy shit would happen to you so you'd be more interested. Like, I like to be curious about those things.
Yeah.
I like to understand it.
It's like women's obsession with true crime and murder. I get it. We're into it.
You know what? Sadly, I'm into it too. I feel like you put that Netflix page in front of me, and I find like That's the thing is like
I think that's what it is I'm like, oh, that shit's way worse than the shit I dealt with today or the last 10 years. That's
the fucking perspective you gain.
Yeah.
The thing of like with like watching shows like The Bear is a must watch for me. Like that there's these big shows that like I have to watch, but I have developed this like shell over the last couple of years, or like this shield that I use to like don't hit play, like, because I know it's gonna happen.
Yep.
Every time I watch that little fucking trailer, like the murder, whatever it was, they were happy. Man. I'm just like, dude, don't even.
She lit up a room when she walked in.
Don't even fucking hit play. Like the ones where they're interviewing them in prison and then they're about to go over.
God.
Like, I'm like, don't even, like, I used to just hit play on everything.
Dude, I can't. Cold cases fuck me up. I can't. I'm like, why haven't we solved this yet? What's going on?
It's 2024. We have so many resources.
Yeah. Why did we fuck up in the first place? Yeah. Dude, that shows, they just drive me nuts and give me anxiety. I love it.
There's too much. There's just too much. There's too much stuff, though.
That's why I'll listen to your podcast. I've been listening to Bad Friends podcast because I think it's funny.
I can listen to YMH and Your Mom's House group.
Oh my God.
They're just so, they just don't give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck. That's what I love about them.
And
yeah.
I think I appreciate that more than anything.
Right.
Like she's just going through cancer right now. Like
I know.
And she's just making the funniest joke about it.
It's insane.
And yeah, the whole situation.
Well, I think that's the other thing too, is like with people that have been through some shit, it's like they'll make the darkest, craziest jokes. And I'm like, this is exactly why we're friends. Like, my friend groups, even the friend I was talking to on the way here, like lost a brother to cancer at 17 when he was 17 and has been through some shit. And it's like, we like the dark jokes. Like, we need them. They're great.
In like that, those situations and like you talking about listening to them and you mentioned, I have a friend and they've been through these things. Like some of the I haven't really like put this anywhere in writing or anything, but like this version of the podcast, I always like envision it being some sort of almost like a reference, like you came on, like I know you're part of my life that we're 1 degree separation, right? But like I picture in the future as this gets old, goes on, being like, now I want to interview Charlotte's friend who Relish, like right. We talked about that even briefly, like now I want this podcast to like, I want somebody to refer me to somebody they find interesting. Right. So down the road, like it starts to build this little network of people, It's
all circling back right now. I'm telling you, it's like that networking thing is like, and I don't mean networking in a corporate sense. I mean like we meet all the coolest people shit, from all
the
this.
way that we all met. Yeah, like the way that we all met.
We can't even remember how we met anymore.
Right, that we spent time to, like we, like it's kind of fucked up that like a lot of us don't care. Like it doesn't bother us to be like, I've been social media friends with you for like 3 years, but we've never met face to face. Right. So when I see you at that event, now I don't feel like uncomfortable to go up to you and be like, oh my God, we've known each other, kind of ancillary, whatever. So like that for this, like that, like
it's okay to geek out over people a little bit too.
If I can get your friend that runs Relish to come do this podcast, it's like, I don't feel like I don't know him. Like I understand that I don't know him, but like I don't feel like so blind to him. And all of a sudden, our network just grew by a couple of people.
Next thing you know, you're interviewing Shaggy Two Dope. I don't know.
Yes, like, exactly. Right.
You've got a bunch of juggalos in your room.
That's the connection.
Can you imagine JJ with a bunch
of? He would love that.
He might be a juggalo one day.
He would love that.
A little Hatchet Man tattoo.
They'd be like, "Did your 3-year-old have a bottle of Faygo?" Yeah, no, he does. He's ripping Faygo. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I see that in his future.
We totally listened to ICP when we were kids.
Man,
we should not have.
No, and that's it's funny because Derek is like, he's such a talented dude. He's running his own business. He's such a good creator, and he just hustles and works harder than almost anyone I've ever met. I mean, the man never sleeps, I think, and like.
I don't want to talk to him. I hate those people. They make me feel bad.
But to know, even me, man, I'm like, dude, you gotta chill a little bit. You're gonna have a heart attack soon.
Back hurts just thinking about what you're doing.
But yeah, he like, I forget that he was an OG juggalo. There's like, and he goes to the gathering every year.
I can still rap like verses from
oh my God. Like, what was that, the first date song or whatever? Blind Date?
I could definitely do it. There was one that was like a game show.
Yeah.
That was great.
They were at Riot Fest last year, and I went to go watch because Derek got invited on stage as like one of the characters that dances around.
Damn it, of course he did.
And so I'm like, I gotta go check this out. And like, I was kind of surprised by like how good the show and the performance was. I was like, yes,
theatrical.
Well, it's like GWAR. It's like I won't go to a GWAR concert, but like if GWAR's playing somewhere, I'm gonna watch it because it's theater. It's 100% theater.
They made a fucking living off of that for
they're just, and they have like 30, PhDs and shit. Those guys are brilliant. Right. Yeah, it's nuts.
It's bananas.
I love it. I'm here for it. I'm here for Guar and Shania.
Dude, Beavis and Butthead made Guar like even more famous.
God,
remember back
Beavis and Butthead were everything.
Yeah, they made that's how I was raised.
Me too.
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
no,
Like,
my young dad was like,
young parents will
do
do
you
that,
want
right?
to watch Beavis and Butthead and what was the MTV dating show with Jenny McCarthy?
Singled Out.
Yes, I watched that when I was like 11.
Chris Hardwick.
I don't know. He was so hot though.
The other one, he ended up doing like the companion show for like Breaking Bad when Breaking Bad like became hot. Like,
Okay.
He did like the post, or maybe it was Walking Dead. I didn't see him for years, and then all of a sudden
he did. I think it was Walking Dead.
Oddball, you know.
Yeah,
thing.
like
He was really popular, like Talking Dead, or
Yep.
like one of these things. I don't know.
I think you're right.
But I was
Oh,
like,
man.
holy shit, Chris Hardwick. Like,
Dude, that show was great though.
yeah.
I mean, I was watching it before I was
Singled
allowed
Out.
to date,
Yeah.
so it's cool.
It was
Everything I learned from Singled Out.
What was it? Singled Out, and what was the other one that came after that? Where they were like in the vans? Was it like Next or something? Or like, you know what I'm saying? There was like
Yeah, I think that was way after. That was like I didn't watch that even.
no good.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good as Singled Out.
Nope. I want old school MTV. All of us want old school MTV.
Yeah, that was the inspiration behind the MTV IPA from Mikerphone.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
The sweet shirts.
Dude, I haven't had that beer in a minute either.
You know what? I got to get back out. I haven't visited Mike in a while. I actually reached out to him about doing this podcast at some point, which we plan on
You know
doing.
he's going to love it.
But he was in like a different country.
Yeah,
when I talked
probably.
to him,
It's
of
like
course.
I'm brewing beer in Denmark today.
Yeah, he was definitely in like a European country or
Yeah.
something when I talked
Good
to
for
him.
him.
I was like, of course you are. Of
Good
course
for
you are.
him. Love that.
Dude, anything else we want to cover? Like anything you want to
Man.
throw out that you get coming up?
We could
that
talk
you
for
got?
days, but
Well,
like
I know that.
this has been rad.
Well, I appreciate you coming out.
Thank you. This is fun.
I'm so sorry you have to drive so much.
No,
This is-
I'm can't wait to drive home.
I don't know what.
I'm gonna sit in complete silence and not talk to anyone all day
What
tomorrow.
happened? Like, do I need to get like a studio, or I just need to start taking it on the road like I used to?
No, this is fun.
Just
The setup
thought
was
of,
great.
Like, bringing 3 cameras and all this
No.
electronic equipment and lights is like, that scares the shit out of me.
No, I don't blame you.
'Cause you know what'll happen? I'll forget.
It's
I'll forget
worth the
something.
drive. It was
Appreciate
totally
you.
cool. I got to have a couple phone calls I needed to make on the way here, which is probably why my voice is starting to
The old
crack.
mental break there.
Yeah. And then I'm going to drive home in complete silence tonight, thinking about
Sound of
ravioli out of a can and
Your Bronco.
my Bronco. Yeah.
Fresh
Which I
new
don't eat
Bronco.
in yet because it's too
Driving
new.
home to Jeppy.
Yeah.
And
Gonna go let
what do
him.
you call him?
I usually call him Boy
Boy.
or Jeppy. Yeah.
Any reason for Boy? Just because.
So just like, here, boy. Come here, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Thor leave us? Thor left us.
He's a cute boy.
Sad boy. He left us.
Yeah, he's like, she's not talking about dogs at all. I don't care. Jepson's more famous than anyone I've ever met, though.
He really like.
People talk
everybody
about
knows
him more than
Yes.
anything.
I'm
It's
glad
the first question I get.
I
from
got to
people.
like know him as a puppy.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got to see him as a puppy. 'cause
Yeah,
I haven't
he
seen
was
him much lately.
He was a
but-
cute puppy.
My God, he's still cute now.
Now he's just a big boy.
Now he's like I just follow him on Instagram now.
Just big dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How big is he now? What's he
78
weighing?
pounds.
Are you kidding? He's 78 pounds.
Yeah, he's so expensive. He has
Let's
allergies.
go.
He gets allergy
Yeah, so does
shots.
he.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't get shots, but he takes Apoquil, and that's
Okay. He gets the
$1
shots.
billion
Yep.
a month.
I
so.
spend a lot of money, and it goes up by weight. So every time he gets bigger, I'm like sick.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah, he needs a job.
I make Thor's food now. This
Yeah.
has been almost a year now.
Okay, I used to do that for one of my dogs. This
Yeah.
dog, I'm like, you're getting kibble, and that's it.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah.
good. It's actually good in some ways because he's better.
Yeah, it's a
Dude,
lot.
he was
though.
like 124 pounds at one point.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that was a thick boy.
Yeah.
You're looking at him, he's a little skinny model now.
Yeah.
He's like 85 pounds or something right now.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to do something. It was not good.
It's a lot. They just want to eat and hang out, and I don't blame
He
them.
was itchy. His ears
Yeah.
were always jacked.
Oh, yeah.
And now his ears are like really good. He still get the paws every now and
Yep,
then.
the
Even
paws,
On,
that's
even on
our-
Apoquil, just like
We have to do soaks all the time.
so bad.
He hates it.
So bad.
I hate it. He likes to roll in. He rolls in other animals' shit all the time, like all the time.
Yeah, he's digging that.
And he
It's
likes to
kind of his
do it
thing.
right before I have to be somewhere. I'll be like, I've got a date, and I'm like, I'm gonna walk you around the block real fast before my date. And then he's like, I just rolled in shit. Now you have to give me a bath.
Like, check
Even,
this out, Mom.
even though you're all dressed up and ready for your date, and
Hope
I'm like,
you have fun.
yeah. And I show up just like covered in dog shit.
Yeah.
It's been really great
Nah,
for
it's
me.
fine.
Yeah,
Nah, it's fine.
it's really cool.
It's been great for my dating life.
Yeah, I love it. It's good for me. But yes, thank you. It's been fun to hang out and talk.
Any like last words? Anything you wanna leave us with?
Can we do this again in 4 years?
Yeah, we'll
Just
do
4
it.
years only.
Yeah. Do you have future plans? Do you have like I mean, obviously you're starting something brand new at Solemn right now. Like that's probably going to take up a lot of your future here
for a little while. Yeah. You never know what'll happen.
Should we put like a QR code to your dating apps up at the end?
Dude,
like we're single right now? Full single?
I don't let people know where that stuff is.
Are we full single right now?
I don't talk about it.
Mini? Okay.
I like to
your style.
Yeah.
I like your style. Stay mysterious.
Listen, I don't want to ruin it. I do not date people in the beer industry.
And what if somebody watches this in like a year and they're like, well, maybe she's not single. I don't know.
They'll know how to find me. I think I said my Instagram handle like the first 5 minutes we were in. So yeah.
Something about me and beers and Charolette.
Yeah, and then what I do is the minute someone slides in my DMs, I'm like, don't talk to me. Stay out of my bog. Get out of my swamp. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say like a cranberry bog.
Yeah.
Stay out of my ocean spray.
No. I think work is really, it's such a focus, and it's, I date and I've met a lot of really awesome people and everything, but I'm also really, really happy alone. I really like my space and my time and my freedom.
With Jepsen.
And I like to be able to go to dinner with people that are great and have a good time.
Mm-hmm. But imagine a person that wants to eat canned ravioli with you over the sink. I mean,
why would I share?
Can't that be good?
Why would I share that?
Couldn't that be good too?
No. The sink is only enough for one.
Them cans ain't big enough.
Yeah. The can's only enough for one. The sink is only enough for one.
Yep.
No,
I think we got it solved.
You're thriving in my single space. It's awesome.
Dig it.
I love it.
Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Charolette.
All right, dude.
Let's do it again. I'll see you at FOBAB and hopefully.
Dude, I think I'm going to start showing up to some of your podcasts and be like the person that sits in the corner that like Googles the stuff. Yeah.
Dude, if I had
I'm really good at that.
If I had any money, I would.
I am really good at that kind of stuff.
Like,
I'll sit in the back. I'll Google stuff. I'll like make funny commentary once in a while.
Just remember this conversation when somehow this gets monetized and I can pay someone.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is I can run all your like contracts and stuff, and I'll be like, listen,
the best person right here.
He is not doing that ad for that medicine that causes all those weird side effects. We're not doing that one, but he will do these.
We'll do the pocket pussy one. We'll do that.
Yeah. Dude, they do that all the time on your mom's house and stuff.
It's everywhere.
I love it. And I'm like, they're all just like, yeah, it's great. And I'm like, no, what is happening?
No. We won't be doing big pharma.
I
mean, not
in this house.
I know you were a pharmaceutical.
Sold my soul to the devil, yeah.
Aspiring pharmacist.
Left it for beer. Here we are. All right, we're going to do it.
All right, bro.
All right.
Dude, thank you for bringing beer, too, by the way. That was awesome.
Yeah. All right, man.
You were test dummy for the new camera setup. I lost one, but at least we got like 2 hours out of it. We got like 2 hours out of it, so we're good. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Charolette.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Love you. Bye.